Arriving here in Jersey, fighting villains from afar. You gotta find first gear in your giant robot car. You dig giant robots, I dig giant robots, we dig giant robots, just dig giant robots. Nice.
Gator! It's me, Vic. I've got flamenco on tap.
Holy crap!
Oh, yeah.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Anime Boomer Podcast. I'm your host, Gator. That was Vic Mignogna from Anime Matsuri. I think it was 2019? Was it 2019 or was it 2020?
It wasn't Matsuri. Okay, it wasn't Matsuri. It was Bubba
Fest.
Bubba Fest, yes.
I feel like everything after 2019 has become just this one gigantic blur. Like I look back and I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that. That happened just yesterday. And I look back and it was like 3 years ago. And I'm just,
Yeah.
I could just feel myself aging. Oh.
That's why we call ourselves the boomers, right? 'Cause we're old.
We're all getting so old. My bones hurt now and shit. Oh my god. Yeah, that was Bubba Fest. What was it? Was it 2020 or was it 2019?
2019.
2019. Jeez. That's also how long the Vic thing's been going on too, and we still don't know.
Yeah, si, senor.
Yeah. I'll tell you what it is, man. The internet, it keeps going, and it keeps going at light speed. Just when you think like things are gonna calm down and be normal, they just go completely off the deep end.
Mm.
And there's a lot of that.
The deep end.
Yeah. It wasn't a cold open because we still played the song, but it was definitely an interesting open. So let's go back to the beginning. Hi, everybody. It's Gator. You all remember me, host of the Anime Boomer Podcast, co-host of some shows nobody gives a shit about anymore. How are you doing, Spooky? This is my co-host, Spooky Weep Trash.
Gay. Got my Twitter yeeted.
Oh yeah, that's true. Press F in the chat for Spooky Web Trash. I also, since the last episode, got my Twitter yeeted.
Yeah, it's funny how that coincides with each other, right?
Yeah, it's funny.
I,
it's like,
since your last episode, got my Twitter reinstated.
Perfectly balanced as all things should be. That's right. We all died so Jon Del Arroz could live. How are you doing, John?
I'm great. I'm on Twitter. I'm shit posting, and it's fantastic. I mean, you guys should be back on there.
I wish. We were kind of holding out.
Too soon?
I know. We were kind of holding out hope that this Elon Musk thing would go through and that we would miraculously, like, all the greatest shit posters on the internet would walk back in and get their Twitter accounts back, but I don't know what the hell's
I saw
gonna go on.
Yoba made an account like day one when that happened, and he's on there. He goes, "I'm back," and starts posting, and then yeeted like within an hour.
Yeah, I think everybody got a little too excited about that and kind of jumped the gun. But some people did actually get their accounts back. I was shocked.
I appealed right away, and I thought, okay, well maybe this is my shot. They declined me, and then I appealed again because like somebody said you have to do it this way. So I tried to write whatever they told me to write. I forget. They declined me again. And so at that point, I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to just appeal every single day until like Elon owns this thing and just harass them. And it worked. Like, I mean, like on my fourth or fifth time of appealing, finally, like, I don't even think they have humans look at it, to be honest. I think it's all an algorithm. Finally, like, they just, like, the algorithm gods gave me the lucky lottery number, and I'm back. That was it.
I need to ask you, like, what exactly you put in there and what time you did it, because I need to try to do it whenever you did it with the exact same phrasing, because somehow you figured out the secret sauce to getting a Twitter account unbanned.
I think I said, like, something like, I'm just a humble Hispanic author trying to make money for my children, you know, and this is my promotions account, and, you know, I've never meant to harm anybody, and if I said anything bad, I deeply apologize. I really just want to sell my books and do my thing. I did something like that.
I'm literally
and then
gonna
leaned into Hispanic.
I'm literally just gonna copy and paste whatever you just put and put it in there and see if that works.
I'm insert
I'm
minority
black.
here, and I'm oppressed and getting bullied on the internet. Woe is me. Give me my Twitter back,
Yes.
bitch.
I'm an
Gun to their
Alabama
fucking
Gator and I
face.
just want to be free.
Yes.
We'll just pull
Tell
a.
them you're black and gay. That's all.
Who? What was her name? The crazy lady that tied herself to Twitter headquarters.
Oh, Laura Loomer.
Yeah, Laura. We'll pull
yes.
Laura Loomer.
I forgot that. That's old lore.
Yeah, she's crazy. The last time I heard about her, did she just run as a senator for Florida or something?
Representative down there in Florida and got like obliterated.
Isn't she on a bunch of like no-fly lists and all that shit too?
I don't know, but that wouldn't surprise me. They put a lot of people on the no-fly list after all the chicanery during the election.
Mm.
You came back to my attention, Gator. We're kind of like on periphery of like different circles that kind of intersect but kind of don't, like at the same time. And you know, we talked before on that other show a couple years ago. And like you came on my radar because I was watching a Patreon only stream by this fellow named Liam Gray in Australia.
Oh yeah, I was going to bring this up.
Yeah. And I'm watching it, and of course, like that link got out, and Yellow Flash posted it on Twitter. So it was not Patreon only, like he thought it was. And I'm about 30 minutes into the stream, and the guy goes, "I've got someone in the back, Gata? Hello, Gata?" And then you pop on there, and I'm like, "Oh God!"
It was like, "Why, hello." Like I honestly, I saw the link and I was just like, I was bored. I think it was like a Saturday, and I was just chilling out on my day off, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna walk in here and let's just see what happens. And it was great. I can't remember. I asked him about the guy that Flash tweeted about first, but then I actually brought you up because I remembered that Liam guy had. I can't remember exactly how he had flagged it, but he flagged one of your Kickstarter projects that was basically just making fun of him.
He sent it was an Indiegogo project, yeah.
Indiegogo,
and so he sent me he sent Indiegogo 5 DMCA claims about my project.
Wow.
And yeah, and it's because so what happened over the course of like the original project was it was a parody of my own book. So you guys are weebs, so I can explain this and you'll get it. My audience actually didn't get it, and it's too bad. So I had a book, Deus Vult, which is like a Conan the Barbarian book, but like with a Christian Crusader instead, right? And so it was pretty badass. And so it was all that high tea, strong male lead, anti-Hollywood. And so I said, what's the opposite of this? Well, what if I just do like an isekai, like about a girl who goes to the Crusades? Because like all anime shows are about a high school girl gets into X situation, right? And so I was like, I'll just do this because this is what all anime and manga are, is just this. And so I just did this like direct isekai because mine was such like a Western comic, like then doing an Eastern style comic. I was just doing the direct opposite to be funny. I just loaded it with jokes with Comicsgate and things like that. And nobody got it. And they're like, why are you making a book about a high school girl, John? It's weird. And I'm like, this is weeb shit. You don't get the weeb shit. But
yeah, this is great. A high school girl in the Crusades.
It's very much, I wanted to name it, hi, my name is Reiko, and I'm a high school girl, and I got thrown into 1099 AD into the Crusades. You know, like those light novels end up being.
Oh, yeah,
those titles
it has to be like 20 different words. You either have to start it with like a certain.
Oh, that's a good one, yes. Or that time I, right?
That time I, exactly.
Yeah. So I wanted to do that, but Indiegogo had a character limit, so I shortened it to a high school girl in the Crusades. And so that my joke book, making fun of my book, made more money than Liam Gray's like epic Wonder Island project that he's been like hawking for like a year. And so I did a stream laughing at him that like I can put together a 22-page joke book and it'll make more money than his real projects. And he blew a gasket, right? And he started threatening me, you know, of course, reporting my YouTube channel. So at that point, I'm like, well, f you, Liam. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a variant cover that like makes fun of you. And so that's what I did. So I did the variant cover, and I have him crying on the variant cover. and he couldn't handle it. He told Indiegogo that like it was his proprietary characters, and they were all copyrighted, all just bullshit. And by the 5th time, it's just like they popped me. So
it seems like
lawyers.
that works way too well on Indiegogo. Like, because I've seen that happen before, where somebody will report something like 10 to 15 times, and then finally on the 15th time, they just give up and they say, "No, go f yourself, get off our platform."
They probably just got a team of like underpaid lawyers who are sitting there, and they're just like, "This is a headache, and this campaign's making like 15 grand. Like, we don't need this. Like, just get rid of it. It doesn't matter." And that the problem is like they don't care, and there's no way to talk to them or appeal with them. I'm actually like, I filed a like legal arbitration with them because I like to dig in and get these companies that do this to me, but we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, because I know, I think one of the things that people know you the most from was, I think it was WorldCon? I think that was the name of the place, right?
Yeah, the World Science Fiction Convention, which is the biggest like science fiction writing convention, which is smaller than Anime Matsuri, incidentally. And I'm so jealous of you guys to get to go to that. I really like everybody's going. But
save up for next year.
Where's it at exactly?
Houston.
Oh God.
Is that like a ways away from where you're at?
Yeah, it's Houston's like flyover country,
That's exactly what me and Gator had to do.
I'm in California. Yeah.
It fucking hurt our wallets so goddamn bad.
Painful.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
why
Bama, Gator?
No, I'm not in Bama.
I'm in Bama. Howdy, y'all.
Bama.
Yeah.
But Worldcon was out here in 2018. They actually move it around the world since Worldcon. And they banned me, and they put up this big statement on their website, and they're like, "He's a racist bully," And so I just sued them for libel. And what's great, it took me 3.5 years to do the lawsuit. This is what sucks about lawsuits like this, especially when you're not a celebrity like Vic. Like, people don't care that much. So you get a little round of like, you'll get on some shows and things like that, like when they ban you. And then like you try to fight this lawsuit and everybody forgets about it, and it's 3 years later. And I finally won. And I'm just like, I won. And by that point, like, nobody cared. So I didn't really get to go around do too much of a victory lap with it. So I actually they had to pay me for libeling me. They were forced to make a public apology. And so I get to go, and the best part of this now is I get to go around, and anytime anybody calls me a racist, I go, I am legally not racist. Thank you very much.
That's how you really got your Twitter unbanned.
A judge has declared this.
Pretty sure that's how Nick Ricada. It's too many goddamn Nicks on the internet. Gets his. He's just like, I'm a lawyer. And he just waves that around at Twitter, and he gets all of his stuff.
It does. It scares these companies, and that's. I mean, they all operate out of fear. The reason they ban you guys over stupid shit is just because they're operating out of fear too. So it's like, it cuts both ways to some degree. It's just too many people get screwed in the process. Oh,
by the way, I think we should have announced this before, but any super chats or whatever you guys give us for this live stream, because we're trying to save up for Matsuri, will go directly to the Matsuri fund. So that little donation, donos, please. Anything that helps would be much appreciated. Ooh, just gotta put that out there.
Yeah, because our wallets are hurting after this one.
Oh yeah, especially because of gas prices and stuff like that. Jesus Christ!
Thanks, Biden.
Are you driving?
God, no.
It's airline gas prices.
Oh, the airlines are bad now?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I think my ticket ended up being like over $600, where normally it's only like $300 to go to Houston.
400, 300, yeah.
That's some first class shit right there, Gator.
First world problems.
I wish it was first class. God. I think they're just going to throw me in a carry-on and just throw me under the plane.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we got a super chat. Speaking of which, Dandy tipped 10. $10 says, Gator, kill your partners and give us channel 83. Kill your partners. Big ups, Liquid Gator. Well, thanks for that, Dandy. Those $10 will help. $10 closer to financial solvency after the disaster of spending all that money on the anime convention.
I'm on anime weeaboo shit. Oh yeah, and also speaking of Jim, someone brought up in chat, he gave us a shout out today, so thanks Jim for the shout out again. Appreciate it, bro.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the end of the month stream and being the only person that's not going to be brought up during it. Well, I don't know, knock on wood, because I could still f*** up and do something retarded between now and then.
You could just like spread your asshole. Oh wait, hold on. Shit. Spread your gate oosie in front of the whole gate oosie in front of the whole internet to see.
Spread the pee poo oosie.
How'd you end up on Jim's good side, unlike everybody else? What happened with that? How'd you get that clout, Gator? What happened?
Got that clout.
Talking about anime and just not being a retard, I guess. I am still a retard, but just not being retarded.
Knock on wood.
A process
Jesus
of
Christ.
elimination. Yeah, really. Yeah. It's really process of elimination at this point.
Try to mostly focus our anime podcast on anime or geek nerdy adjacent things. Yeah.
But
What are your favorite animes, my friends?
Me, it's Samurai Champloo.
Oh, I loved that show back when I was a high schooler. Yes. Great stuff.
Mm.
And for me, I think everybody knows my favorite anime is Steins Gate.
Steins Gate.
Steins Gate.
I'll bring back some old shoujo trash. So my favorite is Fushigi Yuki.
Oh wow!
I love it.
I have not heard Fushigi Yugi in a long, long time. One of the
Fushigi-
I'm the
original
only one that brings
isekai.
it back. That's right.
Shiki Yuki.
The mysterious play, yeah. This girl gets transported into another world, and
High school girl. Yeah.
yeah, high school girl's transported into another world, and there's all of these like mystical. They all like represent like the Chinese zodiac, and it's not Fruits Basket.
I was going to say, is this Fruits Basket?
It's not Fruits Basket. I always have to start with that. It's not Fruits Basket, but each one of them like represents like a different zodiac animal.
Oh, there's a lot of pretty anime boys in this.
Yeah, I was about to say you would love it. It was made for you. This hole was made for you, Spooky.
I don't always I don't know. I haven't actually watched a whole lot of shoujo ever since I haven't been a teenager. Go figure.
Yeah,
I don't know. I've talked to
This one was pretty solid. Like it had a good fantasy, just sort of like plot of like she had to become this like mystical priestess or whatever, and then she had to like fight an evil priestess, and and then try to get back home to her like real life too. So it was a neat little plot.
I think the last shoujo I watched, well, I guess actually it was what I read was I read the Tokyo Mew Mew manga. Read all of it again. Not great, but it'll do. It's very aesthetically pleasing, the girls. I like their outfits. And also there's like a new Tokyo Mew Mew anime that's coming out.
Mew Mew? Is it a cat thing?
It is a cat thing. They're cat girls, I think. Yeah, they're like well, not all of them are cat girls. There's one girl that's short yellow and she's a monkey. I think there's a wolf girl. It's like tall, but they all have like different colors they represent. So, but yeah, I haven't really got too much into shoujo manga for a while. I've
just Googled it. It's got there's a Netflix adaptation. It looks like it's going to be starring Nick Fuentes.
Yeah, this definitely seems like it would be right up his alley. Do you remember 4Kids actually had a dub of Tokyo Mew Mew back in the day?
Yeah, it was awful. I mean, it wasn't called Tokyo Mew Mew. It was called something else. What was it called?
I can't remember either, but I remember the
it was bad.
I saw this on Twitter the other day. Somebody posted and now the stars of 4Kids sing the national anthem.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, this takes me back.
Let me see.
Have you seen the manga Frieren Beyond Journey's End? That's my favorite thing I'm reading lately.
I actually
Super
haven't heard
good.
of that one yet. It was Mew Mew
How do you-
Power, apparently.
Yeah, Mew Mew Power. Yeah.
I'm trying to get off the cat girl topic. I don't know.
Yeah, we might attract
We
the
can't talk
Groypers.
about our Maho Shoujo. Yeah, Maho Shoujo is pretty good too. A deconstruction, if you will. Started the whole 3-episode anime series where it's like you got to watch the first 3 episodes or else how can you know if it's trash? But I don't agree with that at all. You can easily tell something's trash within the first episode. The first 15 minutes, I would say you could tell something is trash.
Well, I would say there's some series that it takes a while for them to get going, but then when they hit that climax, you're like, oh shit. I think for a lot of people, Steins Gate tends to be that way. Because they think it's going to be slice of life, silly, at the very beginning. But then you get to episode 5 and it's just oh shit.
Yeah.
I found that happens actually with a lot of anime. I actually have a little more tolerance for waiting to see where it actually ends up than Western shows, because I feel like the first episode setups usually aren't what the series ends up being about. If that makes sense. I find that it's about that 3rd episode where I'm just make or break usually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so speaking of Sidescape, chat, you'll be happy. I recently watched it and I really liked it. Go figure. So everyone else says it's really good. And I watched it. I was like, oh, it is really good. So I'm trying to get through 0 right now. You know who didn't like it? Easy Peasy said he hated it.
That's just his opinion. But then again, he also he watches trash. He watches trash and loves it because it's trash. So, I mean, your mileage may vary. I will disagree. Steins Gate is a masterpiece.
Oh, God. Oh, we got a dono here.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. Dean Domino 25 for $19.99 said, here's some for the Matsuri fun. Also, remember you talking about Roka of the Six Braves on an earlier podcast? First half was hype, but second half meandered too long and should have been cut down. Disappointed. I can't remember who brought up Roka of the Six Braves, because that was one that was on my list that I forgot to write down, but I've been meaning to watch that one.
Mm. Yeah, Legend of the Galactic Heroes. Yeah, that's another one that Jim, it's a big favorite of his that he always recommends us to watch. Haven't gotten around to watching that.
Oh God, Legend of the Galactic Heroes is great. I was trying to on the previous show that I co-hosted, we had a little anime segment, bonus episode thing where we would watch it. Where I would take my nice great taste and try desperately to get a fat retard to understand and appreciate the finer things in life, and was unable to do so. But Legend of the Galactic Heroes was one of those series, and I was disappointed that we never continued that because we stopped at the good part. We got to episode 3 and that was it. And I was like, no, come on. That's a shame.
So let's bring it back to Comicsgate, because John, I didn't know who you were before. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Comicsgate's my fault, everybody, and I just wanted to apologize to everybody.
We can deconstruct it. So I know a little bit about Comicsgate just because I did a whole Zoe Quinn deep dive, and her involvement with it, and that one weird guy. I'm brain farting. The guy who spread his butthole in front of God and everybody.
Robbie Rodriguez. That's right.
Yes. So
There's a lot of those going around.
There's a lot of buttholes going around, everybody. Be careful out there.
I need that clout, man. I gotta spread butthole for clout, man. His butthole looked atrocious though. It was all pimply and stuff. It looked like he was covered in hemorrhoids. It was this weird.
Unsee it. Oh God.
It was really a disgusting gray color too. It was how does someone butthole
Robbie Rectum.
or Robbie Rotten?
Oh no! Don't put that evil on Robbie Rotten.
Jesus.
Colin Clout. Oh my god.
Here's a little lesson in trickery.
Oh, okay. But anyway, so you probably told the story quite a few times, but I want to hear it. So what is your involvement with Comicsgate? What got you involved with that?
I unfortunately started it, and this doesn't. It gets lost in the lore a lot because it really changed a lot when Ethan Van Sciver came on the scene, because he came over from DC Comics. He had that like rock star, big dick celebrity swag, and he just kind of just like showed up and he just and then Comicsgate kind of became his thing when he hopped on the scene. But before that, it was back to 2017, my friends. Remember those days? We had just fought the great meme war of 2016. We just had vanquished the evil witch Hillary Clinton off to obscurity forever. And the world had changed. And we all were laughing. And then, of course, in the arts, we were getting banned everywhere because these assholes had such, sometimes literally assholes like Robert Rodriguez. Yeah. Would have Trump derangement at all these companies, and they just would make sure we were on a blacklist. And there's a full Comicsgate blacklist from back then of people who could never be hired into the industry, and I'm on it proudly. And the world really just became this like nasty place of these. They just determined we were all Nazis, as you might recall. Literal Nazis.
Now it's pedophiles.
Yes.
Everybody gets called a pedophile.
Everybody's a pedophile. Yes. Everybody. But so that was the environment back then. And I was doing journalism, and I was trying not to do the YouTube game. And I regret this big time, because it turns out the YouTube game's how you get popular and make money. So
very true.
Bad. But I was trying to do like articles and stuff like that and like be classy, right? But I found out quickly that when you write articles, even if you're like in a publication, like my article on Marvel Comics at the time got, I think 4 or 5 million views. Like, that's a lot, The problem is like 4 or 5 million views of an article on the Federalist, which is where I was writing, is like, they don't come and then look up who Jon Del Arroz is and then come support his comic books. Like, these are political people who just read the Federalist, and then you don't get anything out of that, pretty much. It was very bizarre. But that's how it works in politics. So I took the wrong route, and I was doing that. And I wrote up Marvel Comics at the time because I did some research, and I found out that every single writer at Marvel Comics who was writing monthly books was a Trump deranged asshole who just hated Republicans, right wing, Christians, whatever. There wasn't even one who was silent or off of Twitter. They were all on Twitter, and they were all with the same lockstep political message, just going crazy. And this translated in their comic books. They started doing stupid shit like making Iceman gay, and of course, like replacing Iron Man with a young black girl. It's just like
who's now getting her own Disney Plus series.
Yes. Oh, I know. God, subscribe to Disney Plus for $7.99 a month. Everybody, you can watch your Black Girl Iron Man show.
Unless you have kids, like, I don't think Disney Plus is worth it. Like, it just isn't.
Yeah. I do have kids, and so I know, Gina Carano, whatever, boycott Disney, but like I do have like an 8-year-old, and like, they like to watch the little kiddie shows, and they're there, so that's the deal. Oh well. They'll grow up eventually, and then I don't have to, as soon as they do, I don't have to have Disney Plus anymore. But that was all going on, and your boy Zach, the Diversity in Comics channel at that time, was kind of starting to take off. He was at about 3,000 subs back then, and I thought that was a big deal back then. I'm like, wow, 3,000 subs.
I mean, it kind of was back then. It was tough getting views and attention back then.
It was different, and he was making reviews of these shitty comic books from his car. And putting these people on blast, and it was awesome. And so I wrote my Federalist article that was going out, and this was all starting to coalesce that year in 2017. And we all started just kind of criticizing the mainstream a bit more at that point, and it became the culture war. It really did. And there were a few others in there. I think Comics Division was one of them. He's on Friday Night Tights now. Gosh, who else was doing it back then? Englentine, I Love Comics. His channel kind of died. Weaponized Nerd Rage. You remember Weaponized Nerd Rage? Holy shit! These are names I don't think about very often. But there were a bunch of us actually.
You're like unlocking
kind of
core memories here.
Holy shit! And toward the end of the summer, like the diversity in comics was getting bigger and bigger and bigger over the course of this. And toward the end of the summer, he announced he was going to go to New York Comic Con and go hang out. Not as a guest, of course, because they'd never have one of us as a guest. But just to go and hang out, because he's just a comic book guy. He just wanted to get his book signed and things like that. And I got into a Facebook group of comic professionals, and I don't know how I got into it. I made a few comics back then, but I really hadn't had much to my name at that point. And I found in there, like, a bunch of people at Marvel and DC saw that your boy Zach was going to New York Comic Con. And they started a thread about it and about what they were going to do about it, of course, right? It's like, you can't just leave a guy alone to just be at a con. No, these are SJWs. So, like, a bunch of them, it was like B. Clay Moore and Taylor Esposito, who's a letterer for all the big comic book companies. And there was a gal, too, and I somebody told me her name the other day when I told the story, and I don't remember it again. But Marvel and DC pros. And they were like, we got to stop him. We got to make sure he gets banned or something. And they're like, how are we going to do that? They're like, well, he's a veteran. Maybe he has PTSD, and we can trigger him into, like, throwing a punch at one of us. I'm dead serious. Yeah.
That's f***ed up.
That's what I said when I saw it. So I screenshotted it. And do you remember Periscope on Twitter?
Oh, God. Yes, I do remember that.
I think it's still probably a thing, but the only time I see people use it are people who use like multi-streaming platforms, or just like, oh, in case you want to watch it on Twitter, but that's about it. Yeah,
nobody uses it. And there were two big. Who used it? It was Scott Adams used it all the time. Simultaneously sip our coffee. Remember that shit?
Yeah, I have this up on the screen. It's the Marvel Milkshake crew. I'm sure you remember this one.
There it is. This was during that time when she was getting big. So I went on Periscope with this screenshot, and I blew it up, and I started talking about how they're trying to harass this guy out of the convention and conspiring to get him banned, conspiring to get him to assault people. I mean, it's nuts if you think about it. And that got like 20,000 views on Periscope, like, immediately overnight. And then I sent it to Megan Fox, who's not the actress, but the writer. And she's at PJ Media. And I said, Megan, this is huge. You need to blow this up in a story, because, like, the whole comic industry is like, because this guy's reviewing their comic books and they don't like it. These little bitches right here.
Little bitches. These little blonde bitches over here.
Fuck them. They're conspiring against him like this. This is huge. Like, why would an industry do this to a person who's reviewing comic books? I mean, they're negative reviews, but, like, you're supposed to be professionals. So she wrote it up for PJ Media and put it out there, and that blew up also, of course, because all these Marvel newses always blow up. And what we did to get my video out on Periscope and to get her article out was, we were like, well, we need a hashtag, because that's the hashtag thing was kind of manipulable at that time. This pre-Twitter locking down everything. And so we used hashtag Comicsgate for it. And because he had his YouTube clout, and because, like, now we had, like, conservative media publishing articles about it, I had my Periscope, and so we blasted that out, and the hashtag Comicsgate went viral. It picked up steam, and people started just, like, kind of coalescing around that hashtag with this story about your boy Zach. And that's where the real hashtag was born, that kind of continued on forever.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah.
And how's it going?
How is it going? Well, we've had some turbulent years, and there was a lot of drama in, like, 2018, 2019, 2020, and there was this group that coalesced around Ethan Van Sciver, not Ralph, and they were gay as shit, and they called themselves War Campaign. And what they did is they LARPed that they were, like, Roman centurions, and that Ethan Van Sciver was, like, their Emperor Caesar. And so they would sit there, and they, I'm dead. They go into a chat. It's so gay. Yeah. And so
some like
they would go
homosexual
around.
fan fiction.
Yeah. And actually, like I found out later that they've since been like Ethan kicked them to the curb a couple of years ago because they're such but they they literally were like the guy who was the head of it actually in like they'd have like tiers and secret discords that you could only get into if you were like X rank of it was really the dumbest thing you could imagine over comic books, right?
This sounds a lot like some YouTuber drama that I recall going on in 2017.
Right? Yeah.
Funny how history tends to repeat itself all the fucking time.
And if it doesn't repeat itself, it does always rhyme.
Well, the head of it, this guy, his name's Ro Kabir. And in order to get into their top echelon of whatever it was, you actually had to send him your dick pic. That's how gay it was.
You had to show him your outlines?
Yes.
Oh, no.
And people actually did it.
What?
And, yeah.
It's actual homosexual ops. Oh my god.
It was for real. I couldn't believe it. So, but like nobody knew this was going on behind the scenes. So like Ethan just thought these were just fans who were super enthusiastic, were buying his work. So he doesn't know what's going on, right? And so they're running all these little ops, and like what happened is eventually they ran out of SJW enemies to kind of because they'll just get blocked at some point, and then they get chain blocked, right? And so they started kind of turning inward on different Comicsgate people, and I was kind of one of the first of this because I'm friends with Vox Day, who's been around since the Gamergate days, if you guys remember. Sometimes not popular, sometimes it depends on who you're with.
Vox Day, that sounds okay. Yeah, that sounds very familiar. Who was that again?
Do you remember Mount Gamergate that we showed Jim on the stream? Yeah, that Vox Day was the guy that made Mount Gamergate. Yeah,
the savior of the white race, or the Western
world.
Western, yes,
Western world.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, yeah, the savior of the West. Yeah, oh my god.
So he's my buddy, and
it's his fault.
He's actually doing really well. He's just kind of off in his own corner. What he does is he like puts together leather-bound books of like the classics, like Dante's Inferno and like Aristotle's Rhetoric, and he's selling leather-bound books like premium, super nice leather-bound books like this, and he's making a killing doing it right now. But that kind of is Western civilization stuff. So, God bless him. But at the time he got into comics because this was the hot topic. And War Campaign kind of saw him as a threat to Comicsgate. Like, he's trying to usurp Comicsgate from our Caesar Ethan. So they went at him. And since he's banned from everything. Oh, right. That shit. So he's not on Twitter, not on YouTube. So they have no way to go at him. Well, they know I'm friends with them, so they went at me, and they started going around like everywhere I'd go, blasting out that I'm alt-right and that I'm a racist, all this shit, right? And so what that do is scare off a lot of the normal people in Comicsgate, like Ethan and some of the people who came from Marvel and DC, because they don't want to be labeled that, right? And so it's like, so they intentionally did that to me to scare me off. They did it to some other people, and they branded, and I'm sitting there at the time going like, I'm being branded as like too right wing. Like what the like, I thought that's what we were fighting against, these assholes, all branding us all as too right wing. But like in 2017, like they still could run with that narrative that like, if we're only like the good conservatives, like we don't want to like actually give them any ammo, right? People still kind of thought that way. Now we don't care. Nobody cares anymore, and it's all like it's war, right? But back then you could do that, and they did.
It's like the picture of Gohan where it's just like, Cell's punching, and he's like, "You're racist," and Gohan's like, "I know."
Yes. Now it's like, great, cool. It's free advertising. But it sucked at the time, so I got kind of ostracized from that, and some and it bifurcated and factioned, and like everybody was going at each other from like 2018 to 2020.
That sounds familiar.
Until that fateful day of January the 6th, Yes.
Wait,
Oh,
you're
no.
also a federal agent too? When were you January 6th? Come on, tell me.
I was at my house and I was watching the kill stream. I mean the other stream. And I
you can
was
say kill stream.
watching. Okay. I was watching Baked Alaska, like taking selfies, like in the Capitol, laughing my ass off, going, "What this is so dumb."
What a retard! Yeah.
And there was the guy who was like dressed up like that, like barbarian or what? Remember that guy?
That guy.
I mean, it was just it was just a bunch of like losers, and boomers. There were tons of boomers in there too. You got to remember.
God bless the guy that
let
grabbed the speaker's podium and did the wave, because some of the greatest memes came out of that.
I was laughing my ass off this whole time. And then like I'm laughing, and then a few days later it's like, this is an insurrection, and they're flipping out. And I'm like, wait a minute, like you're acting like Baked Alaska is like a real terrorist and threat to democracy. Like, it's Baked Alaska.
He's only a threat to Jewish monuments and bouncers.
He's only a threat to himself. You know?
Yeah, for real.
So I'm just dying, and I'm watching this, and I'm not taking it seriously because the media is doing it at first, and then they're really like leaning into it. I'm like, oh my god, they're really trying to act like the right is some like insurrectionist terrorist movement or something like that, and they're going to come for us all. So Ethan Van Sciver and I hop on the phone at that point, and we're both like a little rattled by the way the media is going at this, and we're like, dude, like we can't afford to be fighting each other. Like, we're making comic books, and one, we're against Disney and Warner Brothers and like Marvel and all them. Like that's an uphill battle by itself. Now we've got these people, like they want us dead. They literally want to, like, we're just, you know, we voted for Trump and we're making comic books. Like, we're not threatening people, but they want us dead like we're enemy combatants. It's nuts. And we, you know, there's just no room for any sort of like division at all anymore. And so at that point, we're like, you know what? We're just going to help each other out. We're going to get back together. We're going to be businesslike, cheer each other on. Any dollar that goes away, you know, we don't have, you know, at first we're like, well, we don't really have to like each other or anything. Now Ethan's one of my tight friends. So it's like, it's interesting how this all works. But like, we just gotta build this together and really build something to go against this. And it's been working. It's been fantastic. And I like having a positive movement that's like coalescing together and not dividing like this. I'm sorry for, you know, your corner of the internet's not on that page yet, but
oh god, no.
I don't know if it ever will be.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think it's gonna be all gay wars with each other all the way down, from the top on down.
It's gonna go down. Oh no! Begun the gay wars have.
The tree branch of autism and infighting.
It sucks. But I've watched it, and like I'm very happy to have this like pretty unified movement together where we are like really trucking along together. It does feel nice, and I just gotta like I know you don't really have any control over it, but if there's a way that the Gamergate bros can get out of it and like work together and like fight the real enemy, honestly, you know, I think we'd all be better for it. You know.
Unfortunately, I think that ship has kind of sailed there.
I know.
We need to have a Gamergate 2.0. Yeah. Oh, sorry, 3.4.
3.4.
At least 6 more Gamergates.
We've got to get Tucker Carlson to say Gamergate on Tucker Carlson's show.
Yes.
Gamergate 3. That's Gamergate 3.0. Sargon wasn't thinking 20 years enough.
Oh my god, what happened to Sargon? Is he still around? I haven't heard his name in a long time.
Sargon actually had a huge glow up, actually, if you could believe it.
Really?
Yeah, he looks like he keeps really good care of himself. He's fit, and he has his Locust Eaters podcast, and he makes money off of that. He has like a whole like team of people. So he quit politics, now he just does like a podcast.
Well, good for him. Huh.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Where
Let me see
are
if
they
I
now?
can find if I can find a current picture of Sargon. Oh, here's one. Let's see. Let me bring this up here.
I actually missed like real Gamergate, like the original. I was still kind of just like hanging out like in normie world, not knowing what's going on. And like my first finding out that Gamergate existed was not from online, because I really wasn't in any online groups at that time. Like it was like Felicia Day came out with like her autobiography or some shit. And somebody got it for me because I liked that Guild show. Do you remember the Guild show?
I have no idea.
I don't actually.
Oh, well, she had a little like online web show, and it was like her playing World of Warcraft, only not, and like she had a little romance with somebody in the guild, and like, you know, it was just a bunch of nerds, and they ended up getting together and hanging out, and, you know, mildly funny comedy with it. And so I really enjoyed that because I was a big World of Warcraft guy back then. And then like she came out with her autobiography, and she's just like, and then Gamergate happened, and like I was stalked. I had to like not live in my house and hide because these people were going to kill me, literally.
It just sounds like Zoe Quinn's book. I read
exactly
that as well.
like that. Yeah. And I was like, what is this? But I didn't think anything of it. I just thought like, well, she's a girl and she's online, and
oh my god, I just remembered who the you're talking about. The redhead that was in Dr. Horrible's sing-along blog.
That's her.
Oh yes. My god, core memory unlocked again. Holy shit.
You have to pull her up for me. I don't know who you're talking about.
I forgot Dr. Horrible's sing-along blog. I loved that back in the day too.
Here, I'll bring a picture of her up, and you'll immediately remember who I'm talking about.
Oh my god.
Felicia Day? Is that who that is?
Yeah.
Felicia Day.
Oh yeah, I know who Felicia Day is. She's from Alabama.
That was my first that was my first
cousin.
Like, hearing about Gamergate.
Yeah, she's my other cousin. Everyone that's from the South is related to me.
But she pulled that grift too. They all did. Yeah. And then she teamed up with Will Wheaton. Like they have like I don't know if they still have it. They have this like tabletop gaming show or something. It was one of their early ones, and like, yeah, Will Wheaton, God.
Who hasn't been blocked by Will Wheaton on Twitter?
Well, he's been off Twitter for a while, but
well, good. He's fantastic.
Those were the good old days.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
Yeah, that's
who else was the other person that liked to block people a lot? That was part of the atheist community on YouTube. Not the skeptics. The skeptics is that they like to make fun of. Yeah, who was he? But he blocks people all the time. But he makes his whole personality how not religious he is, because that's like super cool or something. I forget his name. He wore like a baseball cap all the time. Had like a neck beard.
Steve Shives. Steve Shives.
Steve Shives. Yeah, I like associate.
I'm not familiar with them.
So like the skeptic community came from the atheist community, right? And they were
from
like doing infighting
because it was the whole thing where it was like, oh, we need to get rid of a machismo in the atheism community and anti-feminine. We need to be more feminist and woke in the atheism community. So Atheism Plus happened, and that's pretty much what led to the creation of the skeptics.
Awful.
Yeah.
Sounds like diarrhea.
Yeah, those it reminded me of Steve Shives because those two are kind of interchangeable in my mind. Will Wheaton and Steve Shives, because they probably blocked the same amount of people on Twitter.
He blocked me for going, "Shut up, Wesley."
The best. I got blocked by William Shatner, and I don't know why.
Really? You see William Shatner and Red Letter Media getting into it? Like, what was it, like a few months ago?
That was interesting.
I forget exactly what happened. Do you remember, Gator?
No, I don't, but I'm about to look that up again because I remember what you're talking about.
Yeah, they got into it. Oh, another thing we should bring up. How do you feel about NFTs, John?
I think they're a grift.
Well, do we have an NFT for you? You said you liked isekais, right?
Yes.
Okay. So imagine an isekai, but an NFT.
Oh God, I know where you're going with this.
Okay.
Pull up, Gator. Come on, let's see it.
Oh God, I have to go dig through that link now. What was it? Isekai. No, I'm getting Isekai Quartet when I type in Isekai. What was it called? Isekai Island or whatever?
Yeah, Isekai Island. That's it. Oh my God.
Jesus. This looks garbage. I'm gonna put it
Sounds
on
like a
mute.
bad rabbit hole to go down.
Yeah, hold on. I'm not gonna play the video because I don't know if they're like copyright.
I don't think it is, honestly. Like, these people are not artists. They don't care about their copyright. I think that you could play most of it. It'd be fine. I really doubt
this
it.
This is really, really bad. I'm just gonna go ahead and warn everybody. This is really bad. But apparently this is like an NFT thing. And it's like, oh, you do this and you get a character in the show. And I'm like, I already hate this. I already hate this with every fiber of my being. Here you go. This is Isekai Island. It looks so bad.
It's been out for like 3 months, I think. And it only has 7K views.
I hate
I am Princess Sakuma, the rightful ruler of Sakai Island.
Sakai!
I am Lady Akiamanto, and you will not win today.
Oh, this animation's so bad.
Oh wait, it gets worse.
I am Lady Fu.
Is that a tranny?
Probably.
Safe to assume.
Just
You have to
look at
question
her arms.
I see the bulge. She's got a bulge.
Oh no.
Lady Fuya, what is that disgusting thing in the bottom left corner there?
Oh Jesus Christ.
What the
Uh-oh.
fuck is that?
scared to
Rabbit hole,
click.
guys.
Oh, it's like a 3D render test. Oh dear God.
I hate it.
Is this a VTuber? Uh-oh.
Oh. It's cancer, whatever it is.
Oh, look at that. Look at the disclaimer. Does not offer any investment to fight.
Obviously. Who the f is investing their good coin into Isekai Island? Who looks at this product?
Wait. So this whole thing is just a trailer so you buy NFTs of these characters?
Yes.
Oh, God.
Yes, it is that retarded. Yes.
Oh, man.
Like this is why like I started out liking them because I enjoyed when Stone Toss made like what $2 million. I thought it was hilarious because so many people got mad about that. But ever since then, it's just been one disappointing thing after another, and now this.
Isekai Island.
Yeah. Oh my God. Nice. Cringe. Nice. Comment.
It's so bad.
It's pretty bad.
I was worried there for a minute because there was a tweet by Vic where he was like gonna voice like a character in one of these like NFT things, and then he was like, "Actually, I'm not actually gonna do that, but I wish them well or whatever." I was scared that he was like actually gonna like shill the NFTs, but he didn't. And I was like, "Thank God."
I think Vic has the problem of being old and not understanding the internet, and I think that's probably how he got involved. More than likely, he probably didn't quite understand it. He probably got
paid
told.
gig.
Yeah, well, it's a paid gig, but it's also like all these people. I mean, I'm sure you know, John. All these people that work in that kind of industry, like, they're like, "Oh, this is like the new big thing that's gonna give you like, look at this influencer person. It's such a huge cash grab. We got to get on this NFT thing." And like, you know, Vic not knowing any better, so like, okay. And then he had people on Twitter say, "Hey, you know, Vic, this whole NFT thing's kind of a sketchy thing. You probably shouldn't attach your
They probably
likeliness
offered to pay him in NFTs. They're probably like, so he probably like, "Oh, it's a paid gig," and he's like, "Okay, I'm in." And then they're like, "Hey, we're gonna pay you in NFTs, but it's a future investment." And he's like, as a boomer, he's like, I really don't understand the value of this because there is none. And that probably solved that for him.
NFTs wouldn't be as bad if they 99% of them were ugly as shit and they were just made by some fiber Indian person that they hired really cheaply to make these like quick pieces of art. Like if it was like a legit, like if they commissioned an artist to make very specific pieces of art that you could only acquire through the blockchain, but they were all commission based, I could understand the appeal. But no, it's like a fiber artist, shitty pieces of art, quickly made. It's slow effort, and yeah, it's just sketchy.
Yeah, I've never like Six said, the only one that I really liked was the Stone Toss one, and that's just because it made people mad. It made the correct people mad, and I thought that was funny.
Also, do you want to catch up with super chats?
Yeah, let's go ahead and let's take a super chat break here. We got Dean Domino 25 for $4.99 said the only real Ironheart I recognize is the Japanese one. All right, there you go. Dean Domino also sent another $4.99 super chat and said, "Remember, if you want to work in mainstream comics, you have to sign a document promising not to snuggle your coworkers." I guess if you do, you can just go work for Activision. Team Domino for $4.99. Oh no, I already read that one. Sanctuary for $1.99 said, "Will Flamenco survive his canceling?" I don't know, Spooky. What do you think?
I think, Flam, I know you're watching this. You should listen to the people that care about you instead of the people that want to cancel you. So that's my 2 cents on that.
Yeah, we gave the Copper Popper some really good advice like months ago, and you should listen to us, buddy. You should have listened to us. You should listen to us now.
We still like Flam. He's still walking on anime boomers, but yeah.
All right. What happened there exactly? I don't mean to stir up shit between you guys, but I know he was getting canceled, and I've talked to Flam like 3 or 4 times and always had a pleasant experience with the fellow. That's my only thing I know about him. Pretty much, I enjoyed my conversations with him. But why is he getting canceled?
So essentially, he fell for bait. There was it was this guy named Salvo Pancakes who's a troll. Then like the commentary community. First, he went after Nicholas DiOrio. Yeah. So first, he went after Nicholas DiOrio because Nicholas DiOrio is a pussy, to put it lightly. And he blocks people all the time. And then he went after Flam, trying to troll him by calling him he commissioned a guy to make a song calling him a pedophile. And I understand why he got mad. He just fell for a troll and he spurred out. And people are ridiculing him now because they're like, okay, this is how we can get on Flam's nerves, essentially. So the TLDR of that is how Flam reacted to the situation. And anytime there was a situation happening, I mean, it's like, hey, Flam, you can reach out to us, vent to us, get mad at us, all you want. Don't give the reaction to these people, or else you'll become their content.
Don't get mad at the internet. You never want to get mad at the internet.
Yeah, so now he's these people content. So we still like Flam. He's still invited. It's just like next time, Flam, just don't
be retarded.
Don't act retarded.
I think he knows now. I think he knows now that at a certain point you just got to be like, okay, back to the drawing board. Let's do something different. Let's try a different tactic here. But that's essentially what happened. He just got bait posted into raging out and looked like a retard, and that was basically
again a reoccurring thing on the internet.
I mean, hey, everybody's been there. Everybody's overreacted to something.
I've been there. I definitely have, and that I like to think that like when you go through it, like those war campaign guys, I played it down a little bit, but I mean, I reacted very bad to them, and that's why they had their power over me is what it comes down to, right? And when you learn from that, like I've got a much tougher skin now because I've gone through that and gone through having a lot of that cancellation gone. So I think it's it can be a net positive at the end of the day, like because you end up giving less fucks. And when you give less fucks, you'll be funnier on the internet, and that's what people are looking for.
Mhm.
I think everybody
simple.
kind of has to go through that baptism of fire before they can just get to the point where they're just like, yeah, everything on the internet is like, whose line is it anyway? Everything is fake and gay and the points don't matter. So just have fun with it and don't take anything seriously.
Mhm.
That's it.
And that's the way you gotta do it. You know, somebody says, you know, you're fat, and you just say, hell yeah. That's pretty much all you do. You just laugh at yourself and don't block
I call Gator
them.
fat just to get him to try to work out more, and it's been working.
Yeah, I get a
works.
message every morning. It's just like, hey, fatty. It's like, and I'm just sitting there and I'm like looking at that box of donuts I ate, and I'm just like, she's right. Fuck.
But yeah, that's how you handle it. What was the next super chat?
Oh yeah, this is from Sanctuary Project for $4.99 says, in North Carolina, we help down and out trolls. We give a home to the legendary Victoria. This is a name. I don't know if that's a. Do you know
it's the Vicky-verse. So you know that chick who's been going at Flash.
Oh,
yeah.
Vicky, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so Vicky versus. I want to know how we're doing. Give us a review. Well, there you go.
So yeah, she's living in a homeless shelter, harassing the Flash, harassing Tug, harassing Ethan Van Sciver and me, all, and that's what she does. So that's her entire life. So that's
I
it.
didn't know she lived in a homeless shelter.
Isn't that crazy? So yeah, we found out a lot about her. Her sister came forward, and so like because she's such an insufferable bitch, and as women can be, but yeah, no, sorry, except for spooky weeb trash, she's fantastic.
Yeah. I'm the pick me girl. I'm the chosen one.
Yes. All right. Sorry, I lost my train of thought because I was
We're
kissing
talking
too much
about
ass.
Vicky's sister.
Yes. So she came forward. So she actually was like, she actually started coming on streams and things like that because she thinks her sister's an insufferable bitch. And so she's like, I can't believe this girl, like my sister is spending all day, every day, just going at YouTubers on the internet. Like, I mean, she's like, she can't hold on to a job. She's living in a homeless shelter. Like, this is when this all came out. We're like, whoa, no shit. And I guess like she was such a bitch that her sister who came out has like this like dog grooming business or something like that. Not like child grooming. I mean like cutting the hair of dogs and that's what you do with animals. And Vicky couldn't hold down a job there because she's just like she couldn't work. So that's the quality level of our enemies at this point in Comicsgate.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, it really seems like, the peak of Comicsgate, you guys were, like, warring with Marvel and DC, and then, like, they finally wisened up and realized that all they were doing was making you guys shitloads of money, so then they just shut up, and so then it all, like, turned inward, and now, like, your enemies are literally living in a homeless shelter, and, like, and just running these ops literally from the soup kitchen. It's like, what the hell?
Yeah, for the most part, I think there was a company directive at Marvel because there's this guy who kind of took over in the middle of all this, and there was a huge change. Like there was a lot less interaction, a lot less mentioning of us. Like I feel like they actually put out a memo like, "Hey, stop talking about these guys. Get back to work." And I think a lot of their employees shut up, and it did suck the oxygen out of the room for a while. But we just had to pivot and adjust. Like, I mean, most of us now are mostly focused on what we're creating rather than like reacting to what they're doing. And so it's actually in the Comicsgate's really in the healthiest spot it's ever been at this point.
I was going to say, you guys are making money like hand over fist. Like I took a peek here at you got a Kickstarter campaign actually that closes in, I think it's like 6 days now. And it's at like
nice transition. Thanks, Gator.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, I'm a master of promotion,
You're a master at transitioning.
Oh, don't say that. Jesus Christ.
Oh, no.
So, Overmind, a science fiction thriller graphic novels at $23,000 with
Congrats,
379 backers. And what was your goal?
Thank
It was
you.
5,000. You blew past that.
Yeah. We blew past that. We blew past 10,000 day one. So there's a lot of heavy support on this, and it's just been trucking along. I think there has not. This is the weirdest campaign I've ever watched. So like I've done 17 of these. So like I'm not your guy who's like coming out here doing my first comic with my YouTube channel or whatever. Like I was a writer first, and then I'm like, oh shit, I better do YouTube so I can promote myself. I'm the reverse. So I've made 43 comics total, 17 novels. And I did this. I decided to go into science fiction because I think the superhero thing's kind of a little overdone, a lot of overdone. And I think that's where kind of manga is killing us. Is they have a lot of different genres. You can get science fiction manga. You can get fantasy manga. You can get tentacle porn manga. And there's lots of different stuff that like different strokes for different folks, right? But really, comics like hasn't been offering a lot of that. So I saw that there's like a big like just like hole in like the science fiction.
So this
area.
one's obviously the tentacle
like,
porn one, right?
This is the tentacle porn one, yes. And naturally, watching all the movies and all that with like the replacement of redheads with like the minority characters and all that.
Yeah, my people.
Are you a redhead?
Yes, I am.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry for your loss though. You're getting erased. You are.
Ginger
I'm an
erasure.
actual minority. That's the thing.
You're like the biggest minority now.
I know, right?
So I was like, you know what? I like redhead comic book characters. Redhead chicks are hot, and I like big tits, and so I made a redhead character with big tits. It's
literally you, Spooky.
It's literally me.
It's literally you. Yes, you were the inspiration all along.
Oh, thank you.
But yeah, so that's that, and of course that resonates pretty well because everybody wants to look at redheads with big tits. So it worked out on that level. So stories about an AI that is like manipulating and brainwashing an entire planet into worshiping it and like forming a cult around it, and it's starting to like try to form an insurrection against the human empire here. So I flipped the script on Star Wars, which is just like the Empire bad, right? So the Empire actually good, right? And so I have like a benevolent humanity empire where we've all kind of gotten better and all that and expanded out into the galaxy. And so she's sent out there to kind of investigate into what's going on. And she has to fight this like evil AI in its kind of home turf. And so my social commentary on this, because I'm a deep guy, Gator. I'm a deep guy. That's why I like the redheads with big tits. But my social
I am
commentary on this
also
is
a man of
because-
culture.
I could have made a really lewd joke there about men getting deep in redheads, but I decline.
Right. That's what we're going for here.
Right.
So the commentary on this though is like the AI and all that and the cult worshippers and all that. It's really about like NPCs and like Twitter and just like you know how they all repeat the same talking points, and the algorithms really manipulate these people into thinking that like because they get likes for it and they get dopamine hits off of it, it kind of is a cult in a lot of ways. And so I extrapolated it from watching just that sort of like NPC behavior on Twitter and the way YouTube's algorithms, of course, manipulate everything that we see for better or worse, and then just kind of built it out into a big science fiction epic with this.
Very interesting.
See, it actually was deep. See, I wasn't lying.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got this, and then I've got a secondary story. So as a novel writer, I wanted to try something different too. So I've got the comic, and then I did a novel with the same character. And the novel like will expand the world, of course, get deeper into the characterization, things like that. So it's a super arty project. The artist is like she is like this based Canadian who like lives out like in the middle of nowhere and like does homesteading and like makes her own garden and all that. Totally self-sufficient. So like way more based than all of us. And she's awesome. So
The dream, man, just to like live out in your own and just make art all day.
It is. Yeah. So we're crushing it. This is it's my third most successful comic of all time at this point. I'm hoping it'll get to second or first by the time it actually closes in 6 days, and I hope you guys will check it out.
Nice.
Yeah, I love
you
supporting
brought-
all of the Comicsgate people. You guys do some great stuff, and I like that there's now this market outside of what's essentially now called Cape Shit. Marvel, DC, they just I mean, I just
Yes.
saw the Black Thor. Like, what if Thor was black, or what if Asgard was in like Compton, or what? No, it was Brooklyn. What if Asgard was in like
Oh,
Brooklyn or
it's so
something like that?
cringe.
And I was like,
Yeah, it's like they check off the diversity thing more than they do like, okay, what makes these characters interesting? What is their backstory? But it's more just like, oh, what if like big man character was actually small, petite, brown woman and trans?
And
What if
it's always
we
a white
was
guy going
Canes?
like, yes. It's always a white guy going, yes. And what are these African American children like these days? They wear Jordans. Yes, I got that. I think they listen to Jay-Z. Yeah, I'm diverse. You know, it's like it's really bad.
Well,
They say, you know what I'm saying.
well, like I remember, like I'm not like super into comics as am we, but from what I've read, the thing that makes them so interesting is because it's like you have this character that's a god, right? And what would a god do living in our world? Well, it's like you have to make them like, I don't know. Maybe they're insecure. Maybe they're an abusive alcoholic. Maybe they act really autistic, like Superman, because Superman is actually pretty autistic if you think of it that way. Because he's literally an alien. He can't really relate to people. That's why he's so in love with Lois, right? There's aspects of it. It's like you have this superhuman being, but you have to humanize them and you have to make them relatable in some kind of way. And that's why people, because like there were dramas for adult men, essentially, right? And they kind of take away that aspect of it in newer comics, I've noticed.
They're trying too hard to like, I guess, take like obvious like adult men content, which is like dudes with like uber muscles beating the shit out of each other, right? It's like it's basically UFC art, right? Or WWE art. And they're saying, no, let's appeal to like 15-year-old non-binaries, you know?
Who don't buy comics and have never bought comics.
Yeah, they don't even buy comics. Yeah, they read again, these are like teenagers especially, they love buying manga. And I think the reason why that is because manga is just advertised to them better than comics are. Because if you think about it over here, who's buying like Iron Man and like stuff like that? It's children or it's adult men children. Like it's these two different demographics of people, and you have teenagers being like, there's something that really appeals to me. And so they go to like anime because anime is about teenagers. And so they like that a lot more. And it's about stuff that's different than what you see over here.
Yeah. And the comics, like, I mean, because of the way that they've structured things, you can't really push like Clark Kent into being a teenager. I mean, you can do the Smallville thing, I guess, but like, you can't really take the main comic and do that. You can't like make Batman into a teenager. So it's like they really struggle with it. So they make these like 40-year-old men characters act like teenagers and talk like teenagers, and it just comes across as fake and gay.
I mean, a lot
Really
of it has to
pandering.
do with the fact that they're comically, pun unintended, unable to make new characters. I mean, every new comic book character ends up being just, we took Iron Man and we made him a 15-year-old black girl. We took Spider-Man and we made him a 15-year-old Puerto Rican black man who's also gay. So they can't come up with
my favorite thing to rant about. My favorite thing to rant about.
Go ahead, for sure.
It goes more than just like a lack of creativity on the part of the people working there. It's actually the American copyright system that is to blame for all of this shit. And the fact is, like, we have these copyrights. It's like you can create like Batman in 1930, and yet it's still owned by a corporation, and when Warner Brothers owns it, and I can't make a Batman comic, or I can't just like twist that concept around or whatever without getting sued and like my life ruined. There's no way that should happen. Like, I mean, there's nobody who's alive who created Batman who like is benefiting from that existing. Not even like their direct. It's like their great grandchildren at this point. It doesn't make any sense that property should be owned by anybody for that kind of time. And these laws are only meant to protect these corporations to keep these brands going. So the corporations are incentivized to And they like it for advertising, because if you just spam Batman everywhere for 100 years, well, now that brand is so big that like it sucks up all the oxygen in the room, and that brand is all you need to just focus on. And so you're incentivized just to focus on that. And since you own that, like you're not going to develop a new character like, the Ferret Man, because like nobody's heard of Ferret Man before. It doesn't make sense. So there's no point to doing that. You have Batman. So it just stifles that creativity on that level to where you're forced into that brand. And that's why cape shit is so like locked in this like non-creative realm for forever. It's the copyright system. If you look in Europe, the copyright system is not as robust. Like Conan the Barbarian is copyrighted here in America and you can't use it, but in Europe it's not copyrighted. Like it's in the public domain there. So like in Europe, like people are just making their own things all the time, and they don't have these brand comics. It's just artists doing their own things. In Japan, it's the same thing. They don't have that same copyright system, so they're making new things all the time, and that's why those two cultures are flourishing with their art, and ours is just stagnated in this like, it's basically like Joe Biden but comics, because like they kind of remember what's going on, but they kind of don't know what's going on, and they can kind of say the words that like make people go, oh yeah, that's maybe right, and yet it's a shit show.
Yeah, I mean, it's like also kind of intimidating, because I would love to read like the X-Men comics because they seem like really interesting, but it's just like, where the fuck do you start? That's another thing, is a big turnoff. It's like, where the fuck do you start?
I tried to pick it up at the latest starting point. It was like 2017, 2018. And even though it's the starting point, like it's a #1 issue and all that, there was so much lore and unreadable shit to it. Like I couldn't get through it. It was a disaster.
Well, the other problem too is that they keep restarting the books, because you'll get this shitty writer who will just drive it into the ground and it stops selling well. And so then they go back and they like start back again with another #1. And you don't really know at this point, like, there's been so many retcons, there's been so many like changes to the story, entire characters just disappear and then they reappear and their backstory is totally different. So these characters have been around so long that it's just, there's really no true starting point, because you can go back to the very beginning of like the Fantastic Four, and the Fantastic Four are totally different now than what they were when they were first created. And nothing is really ever consistent. And then you get the movies that come out, and like Kamala Khan's a great example. Like they completely changed her entire power, her origin, everything for
just because budget.
Granted for budget, but like it's totally different from what it was in the comics. And so now you have this huge schism between the two. And I'm sure they're going to go back and like, try to change everything like they tend to do when the movies come out. But it's just like, it becomes impossible to follow. There's so many different characters because they don't want to come up with new ideas. And then when they do finally come up with new ideas, it's just, insert this character and all the powers and abilities of this character, but it's a chick.
And that's why anime is also so appealing, because it's like, I know it kind of gets kind of really tropey, but honestly, there is an anime for everybody. It's like one of the most diverse pieces of media that's out there. And it's so popular nowadays because there's anything anyone could pick up. So you can watch the normie stuff like Naruto, Demon Slayer, whatever, and pick that up. Or you can do, I don't know, like a Steins Gate or a Serial Experiments Plane, something a little bit more on the artsy side. Yeah. Or you can just do a harem anime where you just want to watch like big titted anime girls and try to coom over it. Like there's different things for everybody, and it's so easy to pick up because all it takes is a recommendation. And normally most animes have like an ending to them. You could argue most animes endings suck, but like they have an ending to them. And so you can put that down and move on to the next thing. With comics, it's not so much like that. You can't really like, I know they have like sets that you can buy of like full stories of like a thick comic book, but most of the time they don't really end unless you have like something like The Sandman or something like that, where it's like, okay, there's clearly a start and an end. Or what else was it? It was what's it called? The guy with the ink blot face, the Watchmen.
Watchmen.
Yeah, something. Yeah, something like clearly has like a a build up and then an ending to it.
Oh, Watchmen was just an accident too. So there was a company called Charlton Comics, and DC bought it. And Alan Moore wanted to take the Charlton heroes and modernize them and do like a modern take where they're all corrupt, right? Was his thought. And DC Comics told him, no, you can't take the characters and do that. So it was supposed to just be a storyline of those characters that was going to continue on, like, but it was just part of his run of it. And then DC told him no, so he just made his own like knockoff characters of it and made it a self-contained thing. So that was a total accident.
I see.
But yeah, they not finishing, like the fact that like it's going to go on forever and ever, and they're, Batman Adventure number 2822. I mean, it just it's nonsensical when you try to read it at that point, and it's just it doesn't work.
Mm-hmm. It just becomes boring. But it's just like, I mean with like the movies themselves, like they're boring now. It's just like, oh man, I wonder if the man in the cape will win this time. Big surprise. Oh, quips. Oh, we get the quips. Oh, big funny. Haha.
They didn't all used to quip though. Like
I know.
That's the annoying part about
I hate
now.
Joss Whedon for that.
Yeah.
That's like one of the second worst things he's done.
Yeah. But it was only Spider-Man who did the quipping, and of course that was popular, but like the characters didn't act like that. But once Buffy hit, again, like that became like the hallmark of that show. Everybody thought it was quirky and cute. And so every character now does the quippy thing, and it's just like, I mean, it's tough watching, like Luke Cage or whatever, a big black man do like, little high school girl quips in the middle of a fight. It's like, come on, stop.
I mean, it's just like, why does everybody need to have a quip? Like, it's so overdone. And it's just like, can we like have these people act like characters in a realm where they would have no idea of like, weak audience, haha, we're in the joke. Like,
see,
the
problem is that Deadpool became so popular for breaking the fourth wall that now breaking the fourth wall is absolutely necessary for like every character. And then they created like a bunch of Deadpool spin-off characters that also break the fourth wall. And those were also popular. So it just becomes this like recurring nightmare of, hey, did you know that we're in a comic book? Holy shit!
I think that nails it on the head as an example. The bigger problem is that like once something gets popular in a comic, like that, or even like the Watchmen thing where they're all corrupt characters, like they don't just like go, okay, that was a cool story, great, I'm gonna do my own. They try to copy it over and over and over again, and everything gets copied over and over and over again. So it just becomes really tiring to watch.
Well, that's also a problem in anime too. I mean, like, look at the isekai trash. It's constant.
Or Kirito clone number 57 over here.
Oh, a dark-haired anime boy that's a limp-wristed noodle, like just like me. He's literally me. Wow.
With a sword, with a black sword, and he wears black, and he's so cool.
He's so OP, even though he looks like a limp-wristed noodle.
Yeah, anime can get a little repetitive with that too.
I don't watch any of those. Like, I like the old isekais, like I said, Shigeyugi, or what was that? Inuyasha was great. Like, but like the ones where you're like trapped in a video game and you're a video game character because you got hit by a bus. Like, I never want to see that again. Like, I really don't.
They did it correctly once, and that's Overlord. And Overlord is fantastic because Overlord doesn't give a shit.
Still need to get around to watching that. I'm sorry, chat. I have not seen Overlord yet. Yes, please crucify me on the cross.
I'm gonna not watch it just because of the premise. I'm sorry.
I mean, that's
I've been watching.
You're missing out on something good. If you're gonna watch an isekai of any variety, it should be Overlord, and you can skip the rest.
Overlord looks like porn. That's a lot of anime, though. Come on. I mean, a lot of manga artists are porn artists, like, initially. I mean, that's how they... Because there's this thing called Kamiket in Japan, and it's like... I don't think it's as important as it used to be, but before the internet blew up, Kamiket is where these artists in Japan would show off their work. Well, just like any kind of art, the thing that's going to get you the most clout is drawing porn. So these Japanese artists would draw porn. And then when they started getting some notoriety and people were fans of their work, but like, okay, well, check out this comic that I worked on, this manga. And then they would start reading the manga, and then they started getting fans from that specifically. So, yeah, if you want to become an artist in this world, draw porn, you slave. Become the Coon poster. Come on, that's the only way of getting through this fucking
So the guy that did the art for Dr. Stone, Boichi, is actually he was a porn artist before he got picked up to make Dr. Stone, which is in Weekly Shonen Jump. It just ended, I think, like last year. So that is true. It does happen. They do tend to get picked up from that.
Yeah.
Porn makes a lot of money on Kickstarter. Like if you go through like most of the Kickstarter comics out there. Like almost like I'd say like the way that like 90% of them go is they go uncensored variant cover and then it's just the chick with her clothes off and they sell a ton. I just can't bring myself to do that because it's like Jesus doesn't want me to do that. That's all.
I mean that's fair.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just like I can't just imagine what the boobs look like. I have to pay to see those tits, man. I have to see those drawn tits.
and it's a 2D drawing. It's okay.
I mean, I get why you like the drawing, but like I don't know. It's just like having to pay to see the next porn drawing because you are. I guess you just lack the imagination. Maybe because you're autistic. I don't know.
It's like people
what goes behind that mindset? Like, do you fap to that? Like, do you buy the Kickstarter comic, and then you've got to pay a premium, of course, because they're not going to sell that one cheap, right? Like, do you read the full comic? Do you just fap to the naked cover? Like, do you just worship it? Like, what do these guys do? I'd like to
build a shrine with like candles and shit around it.
Shrine. Oh,
like candles made out of semen that I collected over the years.
You took that to the next level.
You collect them in a jar with your pony figure in it.
Oh my god.
Internet's ruined my brain.
Yeah, the internet's ruined everybody's brain, I think.
It has.
Mm.
And then I'll just be sitting on Twitter and all of a sudden a Justin Wang video will pop up and he's like, the origins of Goatsy. And I'm like, oh, here we go.
Oh no.
Although Wang did interview the guy who put the pony in the cum jar, though.
I wonder what my life would have been like had I never seen Goatsy. Yeah.
That's a good point. I don't know. I'm pretty sure I'd be a millionaire or something right now.
Howie Mandel posted a prolapse asshole on TikTok the other day.
Oh, Jesus.
Why?
He did. He just, I don't know. I think he was trying to troll people. He was like, guys, I've seen this picture, and I'm pretty sure this is like what causes, this is a symptom of COVID. Please reply to this if it's a symptom of COVID. And it's just this giant prolapse asshole in the background where he's asking, is it, yeah, no deal.
Oh no! See, is Flamenco still in the chat? Hey, Flamenco, we got something for you.
Calling card.
No, I don't actually see him in the chat. Maybe he'll come back for that
one.
Flem's been getting bullied a lot on the internet lately. It's
we've been helping.
we've kind of been helping as his friends. It is our job to bully him harder than anyone else.
Early and often, as a wise man once told me. Okay.
The chat's trying to save Flem.
Oh fuck.
We got another super chat here from Spirit J for 5 says, Yo Gator, if you're going to anime Matsuri, I am. Hit me up so we can hang out and shit on the Rage Pig. Well, sure, I will be at anime Matsuri.
Yeah. We can tell them the outline, the layout of it. I guess what it's going to be like.
Yeah, don't say outline. That has a different connotation now.
God damn it!
Because of esoteric.
That's ruined ruined by the internet. Yeah. Okay. But the layout of Matsuri, we can say that, right?
Yes, we could say the layout of Anime Matsuri.
So, if I remember correctly, the big surprise that our buddy Nick Ricada had was he was going to host a YouTube square for YouTubers, because I think I highly predict Matsuri is going to become like almost like our Nick's, like the Wii version of VidCon, where a bunch of YouTubers are going to go there, and because of his promotion of it over the years, and I mean, you could argue like Nick Ricada is an actual e-celebrity, not just us micro niche e-celebs, but like no, like an actual like personality that people are attracted to the internet, because he's like blown up over the years. So because of his promotion at Matsuri, is actually up ticket sales. So he's good friends with the Matsuri people, and so they allowed him to host his own little corner. So people are going to come, and I think Star Wars Girl's going to come. I believe Umbrella Guy's probably going to come this year. I know Flash is going to be there. So a bunch of people that are YouTubers are going to go there and do like, I guess, like a meet and greet. And we'll probably hang around that area specifically if you guys want to easily find us. We would tweet where we're at, but too bad we don't have a goddamn Twitter anymore.
Yeah, for real.
I do have an Instagram if you guys want to follow me there. It's at Spooky Wheat Trash. I'm sorry, no, not Web Trash. I don't know her. She's canceled. Spooky Wheat Trash on Instagram, and I will be live updating there if you guys want to see. So, everyone's gonna become drunk. Yeah, hell yeah.
Oh yeah, drinking is pretty much mandatory at these sorts of events. It's gonna be a lot of fun though. I haven't been to an anime convention, and I want to say like 13, 14 years. It's been a long time.
They're very different. People are weirdly concerned about not touching each other or glomping or none of that gay shit anymore.
See, yeah, when we were growing up, like going through the anime convention scene, things were a lot different. People didn't understand the concept of personal space or showering or any of those things. Like now, you will get beaten with a garden hose if you come out of your room stinking like shit.
You know what glomping is?
I don't go to a lot of spaces with that are packed with nerds, but I would imagine that like it still smells.
Oh yeah, it probably.
On the from what I've been told, so like you know what Anime Expo is? I guess you are because you're from California, right?
Yeah, I've been to the one out here. Yep.
So So from what I was told, the last one, because it was so packed this year, it sold out with tickets. Is my Necro buddy told me he smelt about 3 people out of like the thousands of people there that were stinky. But the thing about Matsuri is, unlike Anime Expo, it's actually really well ventilated, and it's a massive convention center. And it's a very well organized convention center. I actually was thoroughly impressed with the staff there. And so it's like a lot of wide open spaces. You can walk in and out. You just have to show your badges, and that's about it. So, but yeah, on the occasion, I'm sure there will be a stinky person out of like the hundreds of people that will be there. But I don't remember it smelling that bad when I was there, like in 2019. So
I've been thinking about comic conventions though, because maybe anime people are like slightly more kempt than comic book people. I don't know.
I don't know about that one.
Do you have a world-renowned issue where a significant proportion of comic book fans refuse to leave their homes, get a job, and get a girlfriend?
I just think they can't get a job and get a girlfriend. So yes, involuntary.
Yeah, there's a name for it over in the anime sphere. It's called NEETs. And it's a or hikikomori is also another one. It's like it's a massive issue that infiltrated Japan, but now it's like a problem over here in the West, where it's like a lot of people, because it's so easy to like use anime as an escapism from all your problems. I mean, literally, there's so many animes that's the main theme. It's like escaping from your problems. That a lot of these suppressed weirdos, they watch it and they don't want to do anything with their life except for watch anime and play video games. So it's a prevalent issue.
That sounds like an okay life.
Yeah, but there's no fulfillment in your life.
But see, they do it to the point that they literally don't do anything else. Like, they don't go outside, they don't interact with people, they don't have jobs. They're literally just on the government dole, and all they do is like the little bit
or
of money,
lynching off their parents too.
And the only the money that they do end up getting, they end up spending on like stupid shit. So they're just not productive members of society at all, and that's why it's kind of like got that negative connotation. Because a NEET is somebody who's not in education. What is it? I'm trying to remember exactly what because it's an acronym.
Education, employment, or training.
Training, yeah.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's a huge problem. It gets brought up a lot on this podcast because it's like genuinely depressing to seeing that's like where our community has gone to. And because it's bigger than it's ever been to, but it's also like a lot of people we know live that lifestyle because it's just like it's what they're most comfortable with, and they're too afraid of like changing or getting themselves out of that kind of lifestyle. When it's like they would be way happier if they were to like try.
Well, a lot of people like it goes back to they didn't know how to deal with their social anxiety as kids. So they became adults still not able to, because everybody has social anxiety. That's a normal human thing. When you go into a situation and you're dealing with other people, you're gonna have a little bit of anxiety.
Chad McBig Dick over here says, "I don't have problem with talking to people."
Never had a problem at all. But like a lot of people our age had this issue where they have anxiety and they didn't know how to that it's just normal. It's just like a normal process that you go through, and eventually you just do become comfortable dealing with like stressful situations or like people making fun of you. Another great example, right? Like everybody's been through that. Like it's rite of passage. I guess maybe not now for the Zoomers because nothing is true. Everything is permitted now. So it's a little bit different for them, I guess. But like everybody goes through this shit, and everybody like has to learn kind of about themselves and how to handle themselves and how to deal with like situations, like talking on the phone. Like this is something that irritates the shit out of me. How like I can just call up somebody and be like, hey, what's going on? But like there's some people that they like don't want to ever use the phone for anything. It's like, oh well, I'll just text you.
It's like the most awkward thing for them. It's like or like they can't even plan a doctor's appointment because they're like, it's like the worst fear you have is like calling some stranger and having a cordial conversation. Like, hey, I need to book an appointment. What time is available? And that's like the scariest thing to them.
Yeah, it's just like that's kind of a problem, and that's what ultimately like leads to a lot of people choosing the NEET life is because they have that anxiety, they don't know how to handle it. They never really got the opportunity to like handle it, I guess, in a productive way, in productive environment. So, and nobody really like ever pushed them to be like, hey, you need to do this stuff. You need to be a functioning adult. So they just kind of wasted away, and they're like, well, I guess this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Life is scary, and it's just these people don't want to do anything with it.
And that's why it's important to get off the internet, kids.
That's why it's important to go outside and touch grass.
Yes.
That's what we're going to be doing at Anime Matsuri. Enjoying our love of anime while also going outside and touching grass with all of our favorite e-celebs.
Nice
touching grass.
That's smooth.
Touching ass.
Touching grass and touching ass.
Yeah.
Don't let Vic touch any ass, though.
Okay.
All right. That's the type of comment that'll get me canceled. Oh well.
He is. I mean, unironically though, Vic Mignogna is like extremely nice, like a very nice person, and like the reason why he's like got such a dedicated fan base is not only just like he's a talented actor, but he treats the people we were talking about previously like he'll look at them in the eye, have conversations with them, responds to emails, encourages them. And he's also like a big Christian person, right? I believe he's Catholic.
Yeah,
but
he is.
he if you ever do decide to go to Matsuri and if he's able to book it, if you go to his like Sunday morning sermons, it's like having like almost like a religious experience. Like I'm not even exaggerating. Like
Sounds like a cult.
But here's the thing. He tries to put a little bit of the Jesus aspect of it. He's like, well, this is why I have my reason for living. But if you aren't religious, that's fine. And he tries to encourage his fans to do the best that they can, honestly. And it's a lot of times these people from broken homes, they are autistic. They don't know how to talk with people. And it's just like this guy looking them in the eyes, treating them super nicely. Then, I mean, they're what they're used to. So that's another reason why people love Vic.
Like via email a couple times, like when it first broke and all that. I was going to try to cover it for the Federalist or whatever. I was trying to get him to interview about it, and he didn't want to talk about it. But he was very nice and cordial. And I actually heard of Vic like not through anime shit, but because I'm a big Star Trek dork. So like he did his Star Trek Continues, and I don't know if you've watched that, but like honestly, he did a better job with that than any Star Trek I've seen like since Deep Space Nine. I mean, it was so well done. It's great stuff all the way around.
Yeah. It's very authentic. Like it's the way it's filmed, the way that it's angled, the way that they act is very. Because I'm not that into Star Trek, but I've seen like episodes from like the 70s or whatever. Like I mean, I'm very aware of it. Like he's very like that's his big thing is he's big into Star Trek, and he wanted to recreate. He even recreated the whole set, right?
He did, yeah. Like he got the plans from the original like Desilu Studios and like made it perfectly as it was. I mean, it's crazy how much work he put into it. I was always upset because I watched him make that, and I'm like, you know what? Can you imagine if just like Paramount just like was like, you know what? You made these awesome. If we truly lived in like a meritocracy, like where like the good like rose to the top, right? They'd be like, okay, these fan films are really effing good, and they have no budget. You know what? Maybe we'll just go to them and we'll just make it an official Star Trek show. Hey, Vic, do you want to do this? I mean, if they would have done that, and instead of what they did, like, I mean, I have no respect for Paramount. They shut down fan film production because the Vic thing was getting too popular, is what it came down to. They actually went and gave all these guys DMCAs and were like, look, if you're going to, then they put these guidelines of like, you can only make shows of less than 15 minutes and you can't, actually fund, like actors for real or anything like. I mean, there was a whole like laundry list that would just kill any of these types of shows. And so while people were making these fan shows for a while, like they actually shut it down because they couldn't compete with their actual products with these like little fan made ones. It's crazy. I wish we lived in a world where like instead the executives were like, this is really good. Why don't we just bring this under our umbrella? But
yeah, why don't we just fund this?
That's not how it works. Yeah. Sucks.
It's just such a shame too, because you see what Paramount's doing with Star Trek. I mean, Picard was just an unmitigated disaster. Their little cartoony show has just it's I don't even want to say it's like Seth MacFarlane, because it's not even to that level. Like you have to at least be a little funny to be like Family Guy.
Rick and Morty in space.
It's not even Rick and Morty in
that
space.
shit. Oh god, that stuff looks horrible. I'm not even a big Star Trek fan, but I mean I could tell like that looks trash.
Well, it doesn't respect this. I mean, this is kind of the problem about being a nerd post like 2016 is that none of the stuff that's being produced respects the source material. It's all like subversions, inversions, we're taking the character and then we're subverting your expectations, it's Batman, but actually he kills people.
But from what I know about Star Trek is it's a very slow-paced show, but it's about the character dialogues and their day-to-day and how they interact with each other, right? And that's like I think the space stuff kind of comes second to the Star Trek stuff.
I mean, that's not how was. Like the original show was like a space western. So they'd go to a planet, they'd beam down. Captain Kirk would walk around with his swagger and be Mr. Sheriff, and then Spock would kind of be the, he had his weird
he
was
like the
logic, so he'd be the foil. Yeah. And then Captain America, not Captain America, Captain Kirk would then beat up whatever alien of the week it was, and then they'd come back to the ship. So that's what it was originally, and that's how they pitched it. There was a show called Wagon Train, which is a Western show, and he's like, we just want to do Wagon Train to the stars. So it was a space Western basically. And then in the 90s, they decided to get like cerebral about it. And that's when it became like, that was the Next Generation, which was basically like, this is your office space environment in space. And we're going to treat it like that. And like,
not going to lie. I love Next Generation though.
Yeah. It doesn't hold up if you watch it now.
It probably won't. But
Deep Space Nine, though, like kind of brought it back again. They really built this like really good war drama conflict across things that was a lot more fun.
Dude, the Dominion War was great.
Yeah, really good. And Razor Fist actually goes through and like does these like deep dives of the episodes. I don't know if you watch those. He like really dives into them. It's fun.
Yeah, because I think it was great. Like that was like the best time, I think, to be a Star Trek fan, because you could still go back and like watch Next Generation reruns and stuff, but then you had Deep Space Nine, and then like at the same time was Voyager. Like occasionally Voyager would have a good episode here and there, but like for the most part it was Space Mom flies around the unknown parts of the galaxy in her shop vac.
Yeah, Deep Space Nine, that was definitely the best time. And then the movies were just kind of a cluster for the most part. At least the Next Generation movies. God.
Yeah, they had some good. The Borg one was pretty good. Can't remember which one.
It was okay.
I can't remember like any of the titles of the movies. I just remember like there's the one with the Picard clone, and that had some decent moments in it. Overall, wasn't that great. There was the Star Trek Generations. I do remember that, where they had like the whole bill was like, oh, Captain Kirk gets to interact with Captain Picard. It's like some weird time wacky shit. But it's literally for only like 5 minutes of the movie.
It was a cluster.
Yeah.
Yes.
Completely wasted. Completely wasted. But that just carries on the tradition of like every other Star Trek movie is garbage. But every other one is a gem.
Until it wasn't.
Until it wasn't.
And they all sucked.
All fucking garbage.
I think we got some super chats there, Gator.
Yes, we do. Jeb Bush for 2 cent. I'm gonna spook! Oh god, I'm spooking! Leslie Nielsen for 2 says, good luck, we're all counting on you. Is that Airplane? Dean Domino 25 sent a $4.99 super chat and said, I thought the Star Trek fan film Crackdown was because of Axanar competing with STC, but charging money for it, merch, etc., and that pissed off Paramount.
Yeah, Axanar went pretty far with it, but yeah, Star Trek Continues. The problem is like all these were going on at the same time, and like Star Trek Continues and Vic, they were doing Kickstarters for them too, to like, and they quote weren't making a profit, but they were funding the effects and things like that. So all of that went around. Axanar really rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. The guys who were in charge of that were kind of assholes, so they were they took it to the next step and kind of ruined it for everybody. But Paramount really didn't like those shows existing, any of them.
Well, yeah, because I mean, look at the shit that they were putting out at the same time. Like you compare the two, you're watching Star Trek Continues, and you can see that they care very deeply. They care deeply about Star Trek and the fans, and that makes you feel like you're watching the original series. And then you go and you look at like what they're producing now, and it's just slapping you in the face.
Which wasn't it. At the time, they like weren't even doing TV shows because they were like they were doing that whole like, they killed Star Trek like through the bad movies basically. But then they'd go, we think people are just burnt out of Star Trek, because they could never admit that they just made bad movies, right? And so they quit doing it for a number of years, and they quit TV shows for a number of years, and then like when this stuff was being fan films, that what was coming out was that 2009 reboot where it was J.J. Abrams making just like a shallow caricature of it, like he always does with everything. People forgot
pew pew,
those.
laser beams, shiny bright lights. Oh god, lens flare. Yes, I do remember
that one.
Let's make the ship go upside down. Whoa, tilt-a-whirl. All those crazy effects and no substance. Yes, I do remember that. It was like, let's take a Michael Bay film and let's just like scribble the name off and write Star Trek on it. Okay, we've got our movie.
Yeah, I remember like when the ship was crashing and Spock is fist fighting Khan on the top of the spaceship for 10 minutes, and I'm like, are you for real? Like this is just insulting to my intelligence. But reboots always are.
Yeah, I haven't even watched the sequel to that. After they did the Khan one, I just like dropped it. I'm like, nah, I'm not gonna watch this. I think it was Strange New Worlds or whatever was the one that came after that.
I forget what they called it. It was actually better than the Khan one, but that's a low bar.
Oh well, yeah, that's a fair point. Yeah, I didn't even watch it. I just can't watch any of that stuff anymore. I mean, they did it to Star Wars. I was a big expanded universe fan. New Jedi Order was like one of my favorite things reading when I was a kid. Yeah. The Yuzan Vong, all that shit. Heir to the Empire, the Timothy Zahn novels. Like I was all into the expanded universe. I was
too bad those are no longer canon.
Yeah, they threw all that shit out, and now they're finally going back and actually like pulling some of these characters out and then not doing them any justice at all.
That's my biggest like grievance with Star Wars is like you have all this lore that you could expand upon with space wizards, right? Its history and the ethics of it. Like most fantasy novels are like, but they don't do that. And it's just like member berries. It's just like appealing to man children. And it's just not interesting. They don't care about even making interesting, cool characters anymore. Like Han Solo, who's like pinnacle cool. Everyone want to be like him, except they have to have like what's her name, Raylo or what? The Mary Sue,
Ray, yeah.
Or like the edgy anime pro tag, Kylo Ren.
You mean Space Sasuke? Yes.
Space Sasuke. Yeah, like it doesn't. Like, it's like you guys are pulling from, like, they aren't interesting. They aren't fun. It's like, why can't you guys have fun characters? That's why people like, Han Solo and even Princess Leia to an extent. Like, it's just, they had, like even Princess Leia was sassy. Like, she wasn't like those other princesses, girlfriend.
Yeah, but
let me tell you what.
They basically, like, it's once again, like, they took the idea and the concept of the Western, but they put it in space. So Han Solo is like, he's like a cowboy. He's the shoot first, ask questions later kind of guy, running through with his best bud who's got his back, instead of a Native American, it's a big furry dog looking creature.
It's a giant brown thing. I mean, yeah.
Wookiee.
What Gator said.
Wookiee,
yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, you can see, like, kind of the comparisons, but then there's also, like, Luke Skywalker is, like, the young samurai, he's training to be a warrior, and, he battles against the evil, he gets trained by an older, retired Ronin who fled from the Shogun or whatever. And so you see, like, the little bits of the samurai, the Western, and it's just all put together so well, and it invests you in these characters. You care about these characters, and they're able, this is a lost art nowadays, is that they're able to tell you everything you need to know about the character in like 2 to 3 minutes. So Han Solo, you meet Han Solo, he's like kicking back in the cantina, like he's like, I don't give a shit, He's talking to Obi-Wan about, the deals and whatever, you meet Greedo, and Greedo's like, I'm you owe some money to this slumlord, and Han Solo's like, I don't give a f-, blows him away. All right, let's go. Like, that's so fucking cool. Like, you know everything you need to know about Han Solo from just that one scene.
No, they have to be bland and have a deep backstory and from a broken home. They have to be a literally me character.
I mean, I think that's another problem too, is that George Lucas, when he was creating these characters and coming up with these characters, none of this is like self-insert bullshit. It's like, I saw something really cool when I watched this cowboy film and this like samurai movie, and I want to take those characters, those archetypes, and I want to translate them into a different setting. Nowadays, we have it's the Tumblr problem, where we just have so many self-insert characters that are just thrown into. Yeah, it's hack writing. They create a character that's there, like the voice of the narrator, the voice of the creator, that's meant to represent the creator, and they throw them in their work, and you get these Mary Sue characters because it's like they see themselves in the character, so this character can do no wrong. They must always win.
What was that? What was that ugly Starfire comic with like the really fat goth bitch?
Oh yeah,
and then the
I'm
writer
not
was
Starfire.
Was a fat goth bitch, yeah. Oh my god! So I bought that because I was super chatted to review it, and so I had to, and so I did. I got a lot of clicks off that review too, and then it was so bad. Like everything you think about, what that probably like your whole thoughts as to how bad this is.
Here you go.
It was
I have it up on
actually
screen.
worse in the comic. Oh, there it is. Yeah,
It just looks
it was actually
ugly.
worse.
Oh, your mic is shitting out, Gator.
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 There it is. So
It was doing so well.
I burned the book live on the air because it deserves it.
It looks ugly. Like, it just does. Like, the art's, like, really bland. Like, you could, like, we could probably talk for hours just about, like, how flat the characters look, how uninteresting their designs look. And it's just, like, this is just pure self-insertion, because, I don't know, I guess maybe she's, like, another Asian lady with mommy issues, and so this is her, like, way of projecting her mommy issues onto her comic. Just like how, like, the Turning Red was just about this stupid Asian lady being jealous of the white people around her not having mommy issues. And so she made a whole movie about how she hated her mom. And then she was like, oh no, I don't hate my mom. I love my parents, actually. It was like, your movie tells me otherwise.
They hit the fucking Pentagon! God bless Oni Place.
My panda, my choice. That's literally what she says. But that my panda, my choice, that's not even a joke. That's literally what she says at the end to her mom.
And then she said it's Morbin time. And she turned into a panda. Oh fuck. I like this edit. This edit of the comic book, I think, is the best. Hey, yo, Starfire! Got a real freaking problem with you.
Now that would be pure Kina right there. If that was like what his name's Carl. If he was like actually like interacting with Starfire, that's the crossover we truly deserve.
Hey, yo, Starfire! I want you to show me them space cans. If you know what I mean.
The children want. Yes. The children want this.
And imagine growing up with
WB does own Adult Swim. This could actually happen.
Yeah, you could make this happen. Come on.
Okay, look, listen to me. Okay, Warner Brothers. Okay, you got to listen to me on this. We need Carl whatever how you say his name, Brutalowski or whatever. We need Carl interacting with the DC superheroes. Okay, make him a DC superhero. Do this. You will print money. Hey, Batman, what's going on, buddy? Hey, you show me that Catwoman later, maybe? You know,
Warner Brothers loves referencing itself all the time. Like, that's like one of the things it's known for. It's just like referencing all like each other. So
true.
Oh, did you guys see that Chipmunks movie? I wanted to watch it with Gator, but we never got around to watching it. But did you guys ever watch it?
We should do a bonus episode.
Is it okay?
It's not good.
It's not good.
It's not good. It's made for
Is
so
it gay?
it's pretty gay. It doesn't. I don't think it has any gay characters, but the mouse lady, Gadget, she the fly and has like horrendous
no.
like mutant creatures.
Oh God, yeah. Hold on, let me find that one, dude. There were people were so Gadget. I don't know if you
I
know
missed
what.
this.
Yeah, I don't know.
Uzi hits different, I guess.
I don't know if you know about the internet like the rest of us know about the internet, but Gadget is a mouse character, and see, there's these people. They're called furries, and they really love Gadget. And so when this movie came out, they flipped an absolute shit at that.
Mm-hmm. I guess they wanted her to sleep with the chipmunks. Either one of those guys, but
No,
it didn't happen.
I think they wanted Gadget to sleep with them. I think that's what it was.
Oh,
Really?
ugh.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Here's the picture of the botfly family here.
Yeah, that's canon now.
That's canon now. Yeah.
And he was supposed to be like a dog, like pet creature in like the original show. So it's made that the whole reason this movie even exists is to appeal to stupid millennials that love watching garbage. That just the whole reason that it exists is to be like, remember this garbage you watched as a child? Oh, it's now they're making references to memes and cell phones and TikTok.
Hey guys,
You know.
remember Ugly Sonic before the internet called it retarded and they had to go back to the drawing board? Yeah, he's in the movie too. Oh my God, we're so funny.
The funniest
That's
part
funny.
was the fact that Ugly Sonic was an FBI federal agent. I'm not even kidding.
She's right.
I find that pretty amusing.
He works for the feds.
He literally glows in the dark.
He does. So and also thing that was like the most controversial about it was the fact that they had the Peter Pan guy basically live out the actual story of like the actor for Peter Pan. He was this rundown weirdo because he lost his career because he grew facial hair and acne, and that's exactly
Bobby
what happened to
Driscoll.
the guy. Yeah, he killed himself. And he like the Peter Pan in the Chipmunks movie didn't kill himself. He's just like a washed out loser because his Disney ruined his career, and arguably f***ed up. They just make fun of that. But yeah, that happened. But like the animation looked like shit. They were trying to like compare it to Roger Rabbit, but I just no.
It's Roger
No!
Retard.
Like Roger Rabbit's one of my favorite movies ever, and just like you can't
I'll
recreate
tell
that.
you the difference is that we're now in the era of film where everything has to be a subversion of your expectation, or it has to invert the original message from the original content, or it has to be a social commentary. And we're not talking about like the really, really intelligent social commentary. We're talking about just like bargain bin, go to Twitter, Orange Man, bad
Thing
level
existed
shit.
and passed. Woo! Gotta clap hands. Woo! Remember thing that existed.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like it was like Roger Rabbit was like it was a noir movie. It almost parodied it, but like the pain in the ass they went through to create the sets and make sure everything was, hand painted onto like this film to make it look like these characters are interacting with these humans. Like you just watch Regular Media's like video on it, and I go more into detail about it. But like even the way the characters would go in and out of the shadows was like something that they had to painstakingly put together to make it look like they were interacting with people. And also like when they took it seriously, and it was appropriate. Like I don't know.
Great example.
It was
Great example. Bob Hoskins, who played Eddie in the movie. There were scenes where, he's like grabbing Roger and stuff. They talk about like how painstaking it was to like, cause they had to draw Roger in every single frame of the movie. So what Bob Hoskins did was like when you grab somebody, like you usually have your fingers open, he would actually close his fingers when he's like pretending to grab Roger so that the animators wouldn't have to draw Roger between his fingers. Like, it's just like little things like that.
Yeah. Or like there's like a scene where the penguins they're at this what was it called? What are those bars called that whenever it's like alcohol was illegal? Yeah, it was like a speakeasy. It was run by penguins, and they had the penguins like hold up the glasses. So they had to build these like mechanisms to make it look like these glasses were being held by nothing. So, and then they had to draw the penguins interacting, and also like the scene where Donald and Daffy get into a fight while playing the piano. They had to like not only create the set to make it look like these pianos were moving and breaking, but also they had to draw the characters like in different angles and make sure every like key was hitting the right place. Like it's a really painstaking movie, but it pays off because it's still like it's extremely impressive what they did with the practical effects. That's something that we'll never really get nowadays is practical effects and appreciation for it because it's all CGI shit.
Yeah, everything's CGI, and then of course there's one of the best parts. Awooga! Yeah, Jessica Rabbit. Yeah, sent many a man into puberty back in the day. Like,
Something about Goofy Man Dick that hit different. Okay,
I'm gonna give her the hit.
That's not. I made that joke before earlier today. That's not what I meant.
I'll fucking do it again. Yeah, we were talking on Discord, and I made that Goofy joke because he said "Goofy Man." I was like,
I was just saying, men who act goofy, like, who have the personality. Okay, their dick hit different, and that's what I was saying. And this guy to make it weird.
It's Goofy time.
Oh no, Maxie,
You created a monster.
me and your mom, we didn't. No, he said we didn't have sex. We yucked.
Maxie, me and your mother didn't have sex. We yucked. I can't wait to go to Anime Matsuri and do like all these goofy voices for Vic Mignogna.
I'm sure he doesn't get sick of that at all.
I'm sure he doesn't get tired of that at all. Not even a little bit.
Hey, say the funny thing. I'll say it. Goof Troop was like a pretty good movie. It's like peak 90s, and that's why I love it. It's just like unapologetically the 90s in a movie.
I like that's one of those movies that I can go back and rewatch like at any time, and I'll still enjoy it just as much as the first time I watched it.
Goofy is like my favorite Disney character because older Goofy content was just him being angry all the time, like just furiously angry and up everything. And I was like, man, he's a literally me character, and he grows up to be a goofy dad. It's great.
He grows up to be best dad somehow, some way. He's like the anti Ralph. he starts out like really angry and then grows into a good dad rather than a terrible one, a non-existent one.
Oh man. Do we have any super chats we need to catch up with?
Yes, we do actually. Let's see. Ozymandias sent 2 and said, Legend of the Galactic Heroes Mog's Star Trek. Certainly. But of course, Legend of the Galactic Heroes is more of a highbrow commentary on...
Yeah, it's very a different thing, I don't know. It's hard to compare.
It's like the Galaxy Brain to Star Trek's NPC, I think is the better way to describe it. It's... Because it's like... Space World War is the best way to kind of describe it, and they really go into like the motivations and the political machinations of like the different factions within each empire, and it's It's really good stuff. It's really good. So I definitely recommend watching Legend of the Galactic Heroes if you have a chance. There's a lot of relevant political commentary that still holds up today in there. Some of the best screenshots ever too. Dean Domino 25 sent a $9.99 super chat and said, "In regards to Star Wars and the EU, I remember hearing that they tossed it for the same reason comics are dying, for copyright and not having to pay creators. Now they reintroduce it under new canon."
Sounds right.
Yeah, that's very true. And this is something that Marvel has done for a long time, that a lot of the other comic book companies had to kind of catch up to. And that originally, when you created a comic book character, that was your intellectual property. So if I created a character and I worked for DC, at a certain point in time, when I created that character, that was my intellectual property. And even though I worked for this company and this character was would interact with Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman, and Green Lantern, I still owned the rights to that character. Nowadays, when you create a character for Marvel or DC or any of these other big companies, you are a contract worker, and part of your contract says that anything that you create is automatically, in perpetuity, the property of that company. So if I create a superhero at DC or Marvel now, they get all the rights to that character. They can beat the character up. They can make the character just mentally retarded or whatever they want to do with that character. And there's really nothing you can do about it at this point. And so, with the expanded universe, you had so many different authors. Timothy Zahn, R.A. Salvatore. I'm trying to remember some of the other great ones. But
Kevin J. Anderson.
Yeah,
Michael Stackpole.
Yeah. But they each added something to this whole continuity. And so they have to go back and get the rights to some of these characters and talk to some of these guys. And it was much easier for them to just say, none of this happened. It's all fake. And just kind of pull it piecemeal as they want to rebuild these stories. And it sucks because they're putting out...
really, it's lazier than that even. I just think the writers, they just want to hire somebody for The Force Awakens or whatever who doesn't want to, learn this shit. So, we'll just make our own up real quick. I think it's more laziness.
Yeah. I mean, that's fair. I mean, usually it's easier to... just attribute to laziness that which can be attributed to some grand scheme.
Yeah. It's just they never hire people who actually are fans or major, lore, junkies for these properties. They always hire people who are I've actually never watched a Star Wars before making this film. It's what?
How do you avoid that? That's
they
the most
They always do that.
That's so weird. But I associate Star Wars being one of the most American films you could ever watch, because it's every American knows what Star Wars is, and most of them have seen Star Wars. That's weird. I don't get it. Or it's also the Lord of the Rings thing too, where it's just these people actually read the books?
No.
No, they haven't.
That's simple.
There's more to the Lord of the Rings than just Middle Earth. There's a whole I don't want to say expanded universe, but there's a whole world that Tolkien wrote that has really been expanded upon. But I don't know if these people have read those books besides just, I guess, maybe watching the movies. But even the movies themselves, they take a while to get through. Very well, you could watch them for 12 hours straight.
Yeah, it's a shame. And now they're doing it to one of my most beloved series, Wheel of Time, that doesn't even look the same.
Is that already canceled? Or are they still going on with that?
It's still going. They're still going to have a season 2, but God, the season 1 was such a train wreck. They changed so much of the story that it's barely even the same book anymore. They smashed the first 2 books together. They completely changed entire character arcs. even like the basic building blocks of the world are totally different. Like it's kind of like they wanted to write like fan fiction about Wheel of Time and pull some of the characters, and that was basically it. They didn't want to actually make an adaptation of Wheel of Time. They just wanted to use the name for its property.
Tends to be the case.
Fucking
Wait,
I
what
watched
do you-
like first episode and it just seemed so low budget and shitty. I couldn't even get through that.
I mean, yeah, it pretty much was. It pretty much was. And it sucks because it's such a rich world, such a great story, and they just completely f***ed it up.
What are you showing there, Gator?
Oh yeah. Let me pull this up because we need to go ahead and wrap it up because I know John's got to do something after this at 9 o'clock or so. So let's go ahead and.
I've got to go. I gotta go pick up my kid pretty shortly. He's calling me already. So.
All right. So this was from the Anime Matsuri stream a couple weeks ago. This is kind of their tentative plan of what the layout of the convention is going to look like. So, you already see the Sanic, the big Sanic head there.
Oh my god! Need to go get that.
You got to go to the Sanic table. But see,
Go to the Sonic table.
that big green square there, they revealed that that's going to be like the over near Hall B. That's going to be the YouTuber location. That's where Nick Rekieta and crew are going to kind of be set up there. And Nick Rekieta's kind of been given given control over that area. So that's probably where you're going to see a lot of us chilling out and hanging out. And we've got some
Awesome.
We've got some fun stuff of our own to be handing out. We've got these anime boomer wristbands here, like the old you remember the old jelly bracelets back when you and I were in high school, Spooky, but I don't know about everybody else. They were probably like, I'm not sure how old John is, but he probably remembers these.
I do. I'm a little older than you guys, I think.
Yeah, I think you're just a little.
Gotta be. How old are you?
Oh, I'm like in my 30s, early 30s.
Okay, yeah. I'm 39, so yeah. I do remember.
Yeah, so like when we were in middle school, you were in high school, these were like all the rage.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're bringing it back.
That's right. We're bringing it back. We're bringing back the jelly bracelets. And we've also got some...
You're rebooting it.
I
Drawing
hope-
female lead.
Yeah, we got everything. We got the token redhead. We got a scaly lizard. Everything's good.
Everything old is new again. Yay.
We got that diversity hire checklist going on.
Danny said, Gator, that's crazy. I thought you were like 24. No, man. No, I'm definitely, I am an old man at this point.
Yeah.
And I have a youthful vigor, I think. I sound
Because you're
younger.
short. Because
Yeah,
you're short. You got the short man voice.
That's
You shorty.
Hey, look, we hobbits are a proud people, okay?
Hobbits is
Don't talk
Your
don't
feet
talk
fucking
shit about
hairy.
second breakfast.
Look, is your feet hairy and disgusting though?
No, my feet are not hairy and disgusting.
Are they super calloused up because you walk around in your bare feet all fucking day?
No, God, no. I do have big ass fucking clown feet though.
Are you designed by Tetsuya Nomura?
Yes. I am a Kingdom
You're
Hearts
short
character.
with big ass feet.
Short with big ass feet, that's right.
Oh,
And useless
another
like
thing.
Donald.
I've been playing the original Final Fantasy VII, and it's pretty keto. I will say. I don't know if the newer ones are as good, but it's got a lot of charm to it. I get why people like it so much.
Yeah, I need to play the remake Intergrade, like special, like the Yuffie missions and shit, because I haven't even touched that yet. I went and bought it like a while back.
Oh, you play the remake version?
Oh yeah. I went and grabbed that. I know there's like
Is it fun?
I actually kind of liked it. The battle system is more like the recent Final Fantasy games.
Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, it's very
Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, it's very Kingdom Hearts-esque. I actually kind of liked it. But then again, I also am a big fan of like Dynasty Warriors and button mashers and shit. So
I do like button mashers too. I like excuse me. I do like Devil May Cry. Big Bayonetta fan. Bayonetta is so much fun to play. So I don't mind playing it. It's just that whenever I'm working, sometimes at work, I like to keep my mind preoccupied while I'm doing stuff too. So like slow turn-based JRPGs is what I normally play. But I honestly like the first Final Fantasy VII. It's not that slow. It's actually you know how like most JRPGs you have to wait for the other person to get done and then you hit. No, it's like you have to there's an opportunity, you've got to like attack them as soon as possible, or it's the enemies will attack you. So
Yeah, there's no active time or
That's
whatever.
true. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and there's a lot of good story writing, and I fell in love with Aerith, and I'm going to be very upset what happens to her later if you catch my drift. She's a pretty good waifu. I must admit, she's pretty good. Like they make her really boring, and the other stuff that she's in, like she's supposed to be this angelic being, but no, she's actually really sassy. And
Yeah,
she's
they
like
really did Aerith a disservice in the remake because she's just annoying.
Oh no, she's so sweet though in the original. Oh no. Oh no. You know why they kill her off though? Specifically why that was written in?
No, actually.
I forget who was it. I think it might have been the musician, the composer for it. But
Nobuo Yamatsu?
One of the leads, his mother died while he was working on this game, and he was like, I want you guys to have the feeling of growing really attached to somebody and then losing them. Because Aerith is a healer, and she's the only class that is a healer. So you grow really attached to her, and you have her in your party, because no one else is like a specific thing, because there's the way the combat system, I won't get too much in details about it, but she's the only one designed specifically as a healer class. And so you have her on the party, you grow really attached to her, she's a really like fun character, she's got an interesting backstory, and then she just gets murdered. And you're like, God damn it. I really liked Aerith. And then, yeah. So please don't spoil. Yeah, I know. Spoiling an over 20-year-old game.
Spoilers for a 20-year-old game.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it had a lot of charm to it and interesting. It's a really, really interesting story. But too bad other Final Fantasies don't seem to get that.
Yeah,
Oops.
It's a damn shame. I see we got another super chat. Deem Domino 25 for $4.99 says, some for the road. Wish I could meet you guys at Matsuri, but travel did not work out this year. Also spooky. Remember to play past Disc 1 in Final Fantasy VII. That's right.
I'm playing, well, thankfully, I don't have to worry about Disc. I'm playing on my little iPad. So, I don't, it's so interesting.
I remember the discs. Oh my god.
It's so interesting because it's like what would normally be like a $200 system and we pay $60 for these discs to play it one by one disc. Now I can just fit it all in my iPad for like $10 or $15 or however they have it over the App Store. Like just it's so convenient. It kind of blows my mind because like if you think about what Final Fantasy VII was, a lot of people forget it. iPad, I know, but it still works out. But what Final Fantasy VII, why it blew people's mind is because the graphics, they haven't aged well, but they blew people's mind. Those pre-rendered graphics, like people, it's not what games used to look like back in like what 1998, I think is when it came out, 97, and so. That's why they had like a lot of advertisements to it. Like it was advertising during the Super Bowl. Like that's how impressive the graphics were back in the day. But now it's like I can fit it all on my little iPad. I know iPad. I get it, chat.
iPad woman moment. That's right.
I know. It's still like it's interesting to me. How far we come with technology though.
Yeah, it's good times, and then you see the comparison between the old and the new with the remake and all of that, and I just hope they tarred wrangle Tetsuya Nomura because I'll tell you, playing through the remake and you get to the end, and this is kind of like.
Did you hear he wanted to make it a musical at one point?
I know, I heard that.
Oh my god!
They really need to tarred wrangle Tetsuya Nomura more. I mean, Kingdom
it's not
Hearts
the
is
same
evidence
people working
enough.
on it. This is what happens when you have a fashion designer, a character designer be your main writer. Like he's not good at it at all. Like that's what he used to do he used to be like the designer, and he's like was really into fashion, and he was like friends with like musicians and stuff like that. Like a lot of the character designs come from like J-Rock artists. Funny enough.
Yeah,
And so like when you have someone like that who's very into arguably more the vain side of video game creation, writing your video games, it just doesn't. It doesn't work at all.
yeah, it only works for Araki in JoJo.
Araki? Oh yeah, I guess
the author
so.
of
Yeah.
JoJo. It only works for him. It doesn't work for Nomura.
No, that's Nomura's fucking hack. Like Chris Ono goes off on Nomura how much he hates him, but now that I played the game itself with Final Fantasy 7, I get it. I feel you guys' pain now. I'm just like, oh god, it's not the same. Oh, plus there's at one point where they blamed the black guy for killing everybody in like in the casino kind of area.
Oh,
even though he had like
prison.
there's no evidence to prove he did it. Like, it says the only guy with a gun is a black guy, and they're like, you shot everybody, and it's like, no man, there's another guy with a gun, I swear.
There's another guy with a gun on him, and he totally did it. It wasn't me. This is discrimination.
Yeah, they were literally blaming the black guy. It was funny.
Shit you can't get away with nowadays.
There's arguably a lot of things. Though they did bring back the fact that Cloud wears a dress, so apparently that was super important to people for whatever fucking reason.
They made it twice as gay.
Did they really?
They did. You should, if you don't play the remake, you should watch the video. It is very. They made it somehow. They made the Honeybee Inn 10 times as gay.
Oh, did he does he choose his wife chooses Cloud to be his like quote unquote wife for the night?
There's a dance number. There's a dance number. You can get different dresses now. Yeah. It's like a spooky Fujo trash. This is right up your alley.
It's funny. I'm not a Fujoshi. I don't know why people keep thinking I'm a Fujoshi.
It's funny to call you a Fujoshi.
I appreciate cute men and attractive men, okay? I'm not really into like men kissing each other. It's not my thing. That's pretty funny though.
Pretty good. Yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and wrap this episode up because I know John's got to get out of here.
He's getting called off the hook. Pokemon has ended.
That's right. Here it comes. But I want to thank John for spending some time with us today. I want to make sure we shill his book again. Let me bring it up here real quick. I just had it on the screen a second ago. Let's see if I can go through my history real quick and pull it back up. It was Overmind, right? Yeah, there it is. Overmind.
That's right.
Pull this back up on screen here. Overmind, a science fiction thriller graphic novel.
That's right. This is about a secret agent in a space empire going out and having to deal with a rogue AI who has brainwashed an entire planet into worshiping it and, of course, forming an insurrection against the space empire. So she has to go investigate that and has to deal with that. Tons of action adventure. If you love old school sci-fi stuff like Valerian or, the original Star Wars stuff, check it out. I think you'll enjoy it. And, we're having fun. We're kicking ass and taking names on this. And taking over Kickstarter. So that's the fun that we've been having the last couple months.
That's right. Comicsgate's still doing its thing, still producing great stuff, still making lots of money, and giving people something outside of the standard Marvel, DC, cape shit universe.
Thank God.
All right. Well, thank you guys for tuning in today. You can find us GatorTime.live and AnimeBoomers.live. GatorTime.live will take you to the YouTube channel for now. I'm really gonna sit down and make a website for the show. Okay, I'm gonna sit down. I'm gonna do it. I do have the domain. I do actually have the website. I just have to get off my fat ass and actually make it. So that'll probably happen after Anime Matsuri because I don't have time to do it before then. But AnimeBoomers.live takes you to our podcast feed, anchor.fm/AnimeBoomers, where you can listen to this episode on replay. You can listen to our episode with ER as well. We had Mr. Mattaker on. We've had Nick Ricada. We've had Yellow Flash. A lot of great folks. A lot of fun conversations. We've had Momenko on a couple episodes. Hope things go well for him. I think him moving this weekend is probably for the best. If you like this content and you want to support the show, you can subscribe to us on Patreon, patreon.com/thegatorgamer. I think we were talking about doing that Chip and Dale watch through of the new film for like a bonus episode. We had a Charge Man Ken episode. We watched a little bit of it, but it turns out somebody threw the entire Charge Man Ken archive into some like automatic copyright database. So I'll try to see where I can drop that, at least what little I had of that episode still left. And you can also become a member on YouTube. Memberships basically get you the same stuff as Patreon. I've tried to make it so that the two are kind of comparable to each other. So no matter where you support us, you still get the same stuff. Anyway, I want to thank Jon Del Arroz, Spooky Weeb Trash, and all of you in the chat for tuning into this show. So as always, we'll see you next time.